Awesome. Awesome. We are on the internet. Oh. Hmm. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm going to take your word for it. Hmm. Really? They can't hear you? I hear you fine. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. You figured it out. I'm messaging people just in case they are interested in coming on.
Okay, there we go. There we go. That should be fine. Yeah, I was messing around with my recording and my audio stuff earlier on yesterday, and I haven't updated OBS or messed with OBS
Hmm.
since then, and so
Yep.
OBS wasn't recording my mic. So all of that was apparently lost. Everything that I did, the intro that I was saying to only one person, was apparently lost, and it was gone.
Oh.
So I'll have to redo it again. But now I'll have
Okay.
practice. You'd think it'd be better. It'll probably be worse. But everyone, I am live streaming. This time you can hear me. I'm live streaming with Ian Miles Cheong, Still Gray on Twitter. And we are going to be talking about Vidcon and Anita and harassment. Maybe we'll pick up some more folks along the way, but for now it's just us two. But that should be enough, I hope.
For now, yeah. Oh, I got Izzy Nobre to come on, so he's gonna join us. I'll send him the link. Can you actually paste the link to the stream itself so that I can tweet it out?
Yes. Give me one
All right.
moment here. Here we go. That is a lovely. Look at that. That's a lovely whipped up thumbnail. I'm proud of that. YouTube. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy the YouTube link and not the Hangout link and tweet that out. So that's what we're gonna
Right.
do
Yeah.
this time. That's what you see. I
Yeah.
I learn sometimes.
Yeah. If not, you'll have a dozen or so people popping in.
I did that on Andy Worski's live stream. I tweeted out the Hangout link
Oh.
by accident. Like one guy got in before I stopped it, but still, it was funny. That was a great stream. Talking VidCon and Anita with Anita Gray. Boom. Come and watch. Tweet. Bam. There we
Yeah.
go. So yeah,
Tweeted it out.
yeah.
All right.
Spread that. Spread the word and spread the
All
word
right.
here.
I shall tweet this out now on my own Twitter stream, and let's see, talking about Vidcon and Anita Sarkeesian, talking about Anita Sarkeesian and
All right, beer's
Vidcon.
here. Appabend's here. That's neato. Someone sent me $2. I did see that, by the way. Thank you very much. I'm just busy. I'm busy working, trying to figure out how computers work. People are under the impression that I'm some sort of a computer whiz. That is not the case at all. That is not the case at all.
All right, I tweeted it out, so we shall get more viewers in.
Now, someone was asking earlier why I don't show my face. If
Yeah.
it's just an image thing. It's just like a branding trademark sort of thing. It's
Yeah,
like,
I mean, you're a dog. You're a talking dog.
I'm a talking dog. The picture animated in your mind. I could be wherever I want to be for you. Fill me,
Yep.
just fill in the blanks wherever you need it to be.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go. Now, who's this guy you're bringing? I don't think I recognize.
Izzy Nobre. Izzy Nobre. He is a Canadian YouTuber. He's pretty big in Brazil. We've had him on my stream. We've had him on one of Failure streams as well. So some people should know him.
First off, Thomas, yeah, I do main Bastion sort of, and there's literally nothing wrong with that. And I'm sick. I'm sick of this oppression. There's like 3 Bastion mains, and I'm one of them, and there's literally nothing wrong with that.
Good God, there's 576 people watching this.
That's great for 8 o'clock on a Tuesday.
I know.
Morning. That's fantastic.
Yeah. This is huge.
I hope. So he'll be popping in. That'll be great. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. We don't have any schedule. We could bitch and run around.
Yeah.
Someone
sure.
Waiting for rank. Yeah, there you go. Levels honestly mean nothing. It tries to levels do fucking mean something. Quit telling me that levels don't mean anything in Overwatch. A level 3 will always lose to a 6-star level 39,000.
Absolutely. It's levels are a measure of how much time you spent in the game.
That doesn't. Let's see. Cause I tweeted this word because I played Overwatch yesterday. I'm getting back into it, and it had me. I'm 95. Jorge is 41. Then there's a 19 and 8, a 13 and an 8, and all but one of their guys is at least second prestige, and it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. I don't know how that one slipped through the cracks. Rags get failure accomplished on stream.
I don't know if he's on right now. I don't think he's on. No, I think he's asleep. Well, I mean, if he's on, we can get him on for sure.
Sure.
But
let me see.
he's not on Discord at the moment. We have 650 people watching right now.
That's fantastic.
Wow.
We can get a moment to have everybody kind of fill in. Want to stream? I'm messaging him.
Yeah. That'd be cool. Get out.
Want to stream? Let me give you the Hangout. Cause see, now I gotta go back. I gotta get the Hangout link.
For sure.
Copy. No, don't save the link as. I'm fucking retarded. Okay, I've sent him the link, so if he wants to hop on in, he could do that. If he doesn't, that's okay.
Yeah.
So how did you?
I'll send it to Bunty as well. No, I didn't go. I didn't go.
No. Okay, that's kind of a shame. I think next year I will definitely go. And let me.
All right, I'm here.
Let me see if I can crop
Izzy, how's it going?
How's it going, man? Good to see you again.
Hello.
Or hear you, anyways. Hey, Rex, how's it going, dude? Why couldn't you make it to VidCon, man?
Well, I could. Well, I mean, I had the capacity to go to VidCon.
Mm-hmm.
But
I chose not to.
I did not take advantage of going. I didn't. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. I don't have anyone to be sorry for. I don't have anything to be sorry for. I made a conscious decision to not go. But I will go next year. I never really paid attention to VidCon, any of that stuff, all the meetups, all of the get-togethers and things. And I didn't want to be a salty bitch in the corner like Teal Deer or anything like that, moaning, everyone's having fun.
There were quite a few of those people.
There
talking
were.
About, I follow a lot of people from, let's say, the right on Twitter, but I like to follow some people on the left that I find more reasonable. Or at least I thought until VidCon came along. And there were a few people who were constantly decrying the meetup and the people who were there. And it did come across very much like a sour grapes type of situation.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, it's a cool kids club. You're all meeting up to network with each other." No shit, people are meeting up to network.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point.
Like no one in their right mind would go to VidCon to learn how to use Adobe Premiere. You're not gonna spend $750 to go to one of the creator workshops. Like, No,
Exactly.
I mean,
No, that's definitely not my plan. I was going to go, but then life took a very unexpected left turn. My wife and I split up, and then I was like, okay, I really have to focus on what's going on right now here. So I couldn't go. I was heartbroken over not being able to go because I was really looking forward to meeting those guys. Somebody said that Canadian accent, though. I guess he's referring to me. Do I have a strong Canadian accent?
I don't think you actually.
I don't think so.
I don't
No,
think you
it's
do.
very small.
I'm in the middle of
very
I'm in the middle of the South in the United States. I'm in Arkansas,
Yeah.
and I don't really.
So he
have the
definitely wasn't
accent.
referring to you.
Wasn't referring to me, no. And Ian doesn't
Yeah, he
particularly sound too Canadian.
No, I don't think
No,
so.
I do not.
Whereas
Yeah.
neither do the Warskis. They don't sound Canadian either.
No, they don't.
No, they
Yeah.
don't. They don't. Yeah, that's weird. No. The thing with Sargon, it was funny because I think I was at work when that whole thing went down, and my DMs started popping off like, "Oh my God, you're not gonna believe what happened!" And I was really hoping there was gonna be video, right? Because the way they
Right.
were saying is like, "Oh my God, I want to see this." And the split between like, you want to go into like narrative, the split between like, no, Sargon was just sitting there, just watching the talk. And some people, like some of the people that I follow who are more, left leaning, they were like, "No, this was an act of aggression. He knew just him being there was gonna alert her." Like it was insane.
Well, maybe some people don't follow the VidCon stuff all that much. I know my channel is well, I don't get how I don't really know the level of everyone's awareness of all that stuff. So let's go ahead and let's start at the beginning.
Yeah,
so,
we'll give them some background.
That's good.
So Anita was
context.
born thousands of years ago in a forbidden crypt at the
On
bottom
Mount
of the
Doom.
ocean in Atlantis, and humans fought a war against her as an evil god and trapped her inside of a tomb, and she escaped recently, and she went to VidCon.
So she's Rita Repulsa, basically.
Basically, she's like Rita
Yeah.
Repulsa, yes. But
Yeah.
before we start, it's very important, guys, and it's always good. I say start. We've been doing this for God knows how long already, bitch, moaning. But it's very important that when you have someone like Anita Sarkeesian, that you don't contact her, you don't say mean things to her online, you don't
That's
harass her, you don't do any of that stuff. It's fun to you do all the hangouts and stuff you want, do all that thing, but don't actually message her, right?
Yeah,
Because
right.
she is someone who has taken victimization is an occupation.
Is it way of life for her?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. This is what she does to make money.
She's a professional victim.
She's a
professional victim.
You
If
hear
there
that term?
ever was one, it's her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She is the quintessential professional victim. She is bringing professional victimhood into the 21st century. She's the modern day. There's not even an analogy. I'm not going to bail right there. There's not even an analogy for it.
No, there's no analogy for it. She is, if you look her up if you look up professional victim in the dictionary, you find a picture of her.
I just when it
Real quick, let me
comes
just interject here real quick. Sorry, Rags. Did you guys know of her multi-level marketing past, right?
her multi-level
Oh,
marketing
yeah.
past, I'm not
I know
as
about it.
much familiar with
might
it.
not be. Yeah. What didn't you fill us in?
So basically, there's a video floating around from, I think this was done in partnership with that Macintosh guy she used to roll around with.
Jonathan
Because I'm
McIntosh,
understanding they went separate ways, right? That's my understanding.
Yeah.
Apparently, at some point, he was some kind of like multi-level marketing. For people in the chat who don't know, multi-level marketing is basically a pyramid scheme, right? It's as legal as it can get without being a straight-up pyramid scheme, which is illegal in most countries. So there's a video of her at this convention talking very excited about like, oh, the opportunities of multi-level marketing and shit like that. And I have a very profound hatred of multi-level marketing and the people who do this. No offense to anybody in the chat if somebody in your family does this or anything.
They're scum.
There you go. You said it.
Basically scum, yeah.
So the idea, they come across as either very stupid or malicious. They know that this is basically a scam and they're still doing it. So that doesn't paint a very good picture of Anita in my eye, that she's gotten involved with multi-level marketing in the past. So there's a video of her in a convention like being very excited about this. I'm not sure if she's a true believer, if she's one of the actual scammers, but anyway, going back to what happened at VidCon.
Yeah, John, how's old J Mac doing? How's he doing these days?
Tweeting up a storm from what I see sometimes.
Yeah, I know
He's always tweeting about it.
Tweets.
Yeah.
I know he tweets.
Just explaining about how like video games are the worst thing in the world, and how every tragedy that's ever happened and every injustice in the world is caused by video games. During E3, he was talking about like, oh, these games are just about killing people.
Yeah, so I guess some things never change.
Yeah,
But-
no, they don't.
But I need to
I
see
actually
what
thought
he's
when
up
I
to.
heard. Oh, sorry, Rex. Go ahead.
No, I was saying I need to see what he's up to because he's just kind of he's almost quiet. Like,
He's a fascinating character.
Like tweets don't really count as being loud anymore. Like we just assume you're tweeting about things.
He produces a video series called the Pop Culture Detective Agency, which is like
That's
the
right.
cringiest
That's
fucking
crazy
name.
as fuck.
It is, but it's Macintosh, so what do you expect?
Yeah, first off, we call it Coke here in Arkansas. First off, oh, by the way, thanks for $2, Nemesis. He's asking if we're going to talk about E3, and I suppose we could roll it together. I was going to do an E3 stream with Ian, but I had to go on vacation, and I was like, I don't want to cram this into. I got to like pack and shit. I can't just go there. But yeah, we could talk about that as well later on because we never had one. But Anita Sarkeesian went to Vidcon. Vidcon was the 23rd to 25th, so it just wrapped up a few days ago. And
That's right.
Vidcon is for all of the. Well, who is Vidcon for, really?
It's just for people who
everybody
create
and nobody.
videos and people who enjoy them. Really, yeah, I guess that's one way to put it.
But VidCon is pretty progressive leaning, to say the
Absolutely.
least.
I mean,
It
it's
is very-
Hank and Tom. No, it's not Tom Green. Hank and his brother, the other Green.
Tom Green, the lost vlog brother.
Yeah, it's made by them. You know, they're pretty progressive leaning. You know, so their biases are pretty obvious, and you can see it in the lineup for like their events, right? Their panels. It's all progressive leaning stuff. You're not gonna have a panel that's about anti-social justice. What does it mean? You know?
Oh,
It's
definitely
all about,
not.
Yeah, it's all about cyberbullying or women in tech, you know, some shit like that.
There's a reason that Anita is on the panelist for harassment. I mean, there's a reason for that. And there's also a reason that after this whole thing happened, she wasn't just removed from the panel and told to leave.
Right. Yeah.
She definitely was protected by the people who got her there.
Imagine if she were Lauren Southern. Imagine if she was Sargon of Akkad. Imagine if she were Mundane Matt, right? Any of these people. Or imagine if she were Milo Yiannopoulos. Went there and then called somebody out. Yeah, like imagine if they called out somebody in the crowd and were like, you're the guy who's fucking trash. They'd be removed. Like that same day.
Yeah, they're harassing an attendee for absolutely no reason whatsoever.
He was just sitting there. Yeah. And now the narrative is being painted by the marysue.com and I'm sure other websites have picked it up since her blog went live yesterday.
Well, they have to militarize their activist journalism to combat the prevalent narrative that that Anita is a piece of shit who's saying mean things to people.
What I really like is the fact that basically what they're saying is he had it coming because he was there. That's their argument.
Hold up. Does everyone know? I assume everyone knows. Because it's been really big, and everybody and their grandmother's kitchen sinks have made videos about it.
It's Appabend.
Got it.
There he is. He's in.
I got it.
Hello.
Perfect. I got it. That's a lot of figuring out. Did a little bit of hacking here and there, so I got it.
Are you 4chan?
No, maybe.
The hacker known
I
as
sent a link to Deter Lucum because he was at VidCon, so he can probably talk to us about that a little bit. So I just sent that to him. He's in the chat right now. I see him talking in the chat, so he should check his DMs if he hasn't already.
Let's see. So let me add Appabend's name here. Appabend at Appabend. There you go. That's nice. That's nice, fucking simple. It's none of this email Cheong. Of course, still great. That makes fucking sense. Let's find him in a fucking second. We've got Izzy. What's your Twitter thingy here?
Mr. Nobre. So MRNOBRE. That's my English one. I have a Portuguese one, but obviously we won't be able to understand
Mr.
it.
Nobre, of course.
Portuguese.
There we
It's simple.
go.
That's right.
Let's see. Mr. Nobre. All the other Nobres missing out.
You got the special one.
I'm sorry, I put Izzy Nobre. I'm sorry, I don't know.
It happens a lot. It's okay.
I read it as Nobre. So, for those of you who do not know, and if people slip in, we'll just add them name to listen, and we'll end up as a cancerous stream. It's fine. So, for those of you who don't know, at VidCon, Sargon went there, and the Warskis went there, and Monday Matt went there, and the Honey Badgers went there. A lot of people went there, and they went to Anita's panel that she did with some other fine ladies about harassment, and she was on this big panel. Because she is the cult leader, the god of this part of the, that part of the line of thinking. She really is.
She is, yeah.
She saw these people sitting in the front row, and what's amazing is the fact they were able to get on the front row. Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
which
true.
is
It was early, right?
It
That's
really wasn't
amazing.
that hard. We just had to show up like
Yeah.
10 minutes, 20 minutes early.
It was basically
Yeah.
empty, right? My understanding was that it was an empty theater, nobody was there, and all you guys had to do was just show up.
I don't make assumptions.
No.
Look,
we
I
probably-
would assume that
we probably
a
made
huge
we probably made
internet
up something
personality.
like a third of the crowd.
third
We
of
were all
But this
but
is
we were all like,
Anita Sarkeesian. She has a bajillion followers, and she has a massive internet presence, and everyone knows her name, and she's beloved and hated and feared and loved by everybody. It's amazing you just walk up to her panel, sit in the front row. With all your friends, too. It's like, could you scoot down a second? It's like, none of that. Like, we are now in the front row of Anita Sarkeesian's panel. But that's what they did. They sat at the front row of her panel, and she saw Sargon, and she started harassing him. Yeah, she started harassing him from her position of privilege. So why don't you chew
And
on
harassing
that?
him is perfectly okay.
She would argue that it's not possible for her to harass him because of power plus privilege. That's literally the argument that so many of them are using right now.
no, but it can't because like,
To be fair, though,
no, this is
to
why I
be fair,
despise
she
the
has
power.
like 200,000 subscribers. Sargon has like 600,000, so I think she has a point in there.
No, because
No.
you see, like I'm one of those people.
I mean,
that
she's sitting above him with a microphone, and he really has no ability to respond. And it was completely unprovoked. That's the biggest thing. It was completely unprovoked. And from what I've seen of Sargon, I'm not the biggest follower of Sargon. I watch his stuff, but maybe there's a few things that slip through the cracks of my knowledge of his work. I've never seen him attack Anita in the way that she was describing.
No, I mean, he doesn't. His videos aren't harassment. I mean, it's
Not
just.
really,
She's
no.
just.
No, they're not. They're criticism, and at
criticism,
times it
yeah.
can be biting, but it's never malicious. It's never, at least from what I've seen of his videos, and I've seen quite a few of his videos, and then for her to just go, what did she say? She said, "This shithead here." And then she called him at the end of her little spiel. She also called him a garbage human.
He's a garbage human.
There was some
human.
discussion
Some
of the
other nastier
syntax
things, too.
shoes.
Yeah, she
She
called him
said
some other
more.
nasty things too, but that's
Oh,
kind
I
of a
didn't
famous
know.
thing is garbage human. But it's the main point that people drag away from this is obviously the massive hypocrisy that comes from her being on an anti-harassment panel and from her making all of this. Is my icon not showing up? That's weird. It's just a black circle.
No, it's showing up to me.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
good. That's fine. That's all right. Because to me, it's not. So I'm just
Right.
just the black void with the voiceless, corporeal opinions here. But I got my train of thoughts boarding at the station now. But yeah, she is on an anti-harassment panel, and she harassed somebody, and she's made her whole career about victimizing herself about this entire thing. She's the one who says, remember, this is the person who went to the UN to complain about being, having mean things said to her online. She said,
How fucking crazy is that?
I know, this
know.
is the woman who made it to the United Nations. Now, you can put whatever value you want to ascribe to talking to the United Nations now. It's whatever you...
It's the fact that she went there. Right? It's
But
the fact that she went there to
it's the
complain
fact she
about
could get there.
censorship.
But the
Arguing
United
for it.
Nations, the UN, she was there with Brianna Wu.
No, not
Not
Brianna Wu.
Zoe Quinn.
Zoe Quinn, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're really all the same, let's be honest. So we've got, but she goes there, she makes this huge deal, and remember, in front of the UN, she's saying that it's the daily grind of the you suck, and you're bad, and you're awful, and mean tweets on the Twitter, and this
She
is
said-
harassment,
she said
and
the
we
same
have
thing
to
at
stop it.
VidCon.
And then she
She
goes to
brought up-
VidCon, and she does
brought
that.
up the daily grind again.
The daily
Yeah.
grind.
It's her spiel, right? Every time she talks about it, it's always about the daily grind. And she's not the only one that does it. Like Brianna Wu, Zoe Quinn, whenever they go to some fucking conference, whether it's the Book Publishers Weekly or whatever, or whether Brianna's talking at some event, women in gaming or something like that, she's always they're always bringing up the same talking points. It's always about the daily grind of what women go through. And if you are I can't speak on behalf of women, but I mean, I'm not an idiot, so I'm going to say that if you are a young woman who wants to get into video games, and these are the people that you're told to listen to, who you're told that have good ideas that you should absolutely listen to, you're going to be turned off by it. You're going to be like, wow.
That's exactly, yes.
Guys,
that's
one
so
of the
true. How?
one of the questions during the question and answer section came from a woman and was basically that.
Yeah.
Which is like, why
really?
are you focusing so much on this sort of negative things about women online when you could be focusing on other things?
It goes so counter to the message. Like, I understand that, I mean, from my reading of her message, is like, we need more women in tech or gaming or whatever. I get that, right? But how?
I actually don't even get that. I don't know why we have to have more women or more men in it.
No, I mean, let's give her the benefit of the doubt. Let's assume at face value, this is a good idea. Just, it means more people are creating content and more people are working tech.
I'm down with that.
Just at face value, right? Let's just take her for her word. Fine. How do you convince women to join this world that you've been hammering that is just women-hating, misogynist? Like, that's all you ever say. How could you possibly convince a woman to join to join that? Like, it goes, what you're doing is completely counter to your apparent mission.
And the people you do convince to go in, well, first off, they'll be very surprised that they're not getting crucified every second.
Yeah.
But they'll also be, if anybody gets past that incredibly negative stereotype that's put out about it, they're going to have a mindset like hers. They're going to see everything as racist and sexist and homophobic, blah, blah, blah.
Is it bias, right? Yeah.
If you overinflate a problem, then it becomes your focus from the onset, and that's
correct.
Troubling.
It is.
You're going to be looking for problems that aren't there, really.
Oh no, you see, the problems will still be there because it's like online gaming. You're just going to be like, oh, I was insulted. It must be because I'm X, Y, and Z, as opposed to a new player or somebody knows that's the sort of thing that might bother you, and they're testing the waters to try to.
People are just dicks. You're never going to stop people from being
dicks. It must be because of my vagina.
No, I mean,
no other explanation.
You could go back to like chess games in person and just the psychological way of the game, just trying to get the person to mess up. And then when you transfer it to online, you can be way more nasty because you can't. Actually, there was the second panel with Boogie. He brought up an amazing point that I think a lot more people should focus on. That, like, when you used to bully somebody or harass somebody, I shouldn't say harassment because that has a different definition. But if you were a dick to somebody in person, like, I'm going to use my chess analogy. If you tried to get into your opponent's head in person, you would be able to read their body language. You would be able to see, like, oh, this is the thing that bothers them. I'm going to try to get into their head so they mess up so I win this game. Or I'll just play better than them. It depends on the chess player. But if you do this online, you see nothing. And it can get way more nasty. You have to, like, listen for somebody's reaction, which is much harder. And people online just get worse. The anonymity is very real, and it can make people act way more cruel to everybody.
Absolutely. And when people hear a female voice, they might go after you for that. But if they hear a male voice, they'll attach themselves to whatever they possibly can. If you sound a certain way, they'll go after that. If you play a certain character, they'll go after that. Lord knows we all do that.
It's like, hey, who has played online games and been called gay?
Oh,
everybody.
I have.
Anyone?
Yeah, I had Xbox Live.
It happened to me once.
Yeah.
By a 12-year-old. It's usually by like a 12-year-old, which is even funnier.
Like, you're gay.
Hell, look at the. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but there was a video that went viral from Overwatch a few months ago, and it was these two girl gamers. So they were probably around 18 to like 22, and they were just calling each other out and how bad Mercy they were. You're a bad Mercy, and they're like, no, you're a bad Mercy, and it's like. It's not, it's not an issue that's prevalent with the male community of video games. It's just video games in general. It's gaming in general, right? You wanna. There is this whole competitive edge, this element of competitiveness that goes on even in the team itself, you know. So
Oh,
people
yeah.
are dicks to each other.
People are bigger dicks to each other, to their own teams, than they are to the other teams.
Oh yeah. I mean, look.
In a lot of competitive games, you just don't talk to the other team.
Oh yeah, you don't even do it.
Assuming there's all chat or something.
Right. Yeah, most of the time it's just people bitching at each other in the team itself.
Yeah,
and they're assholes.
Yeah, the long distance nature of it, the fact where it's all anonymous, you could say anything that you want, and you can mute and control what you can hear, and you can disengage it anytime you want without repercussion. That's just what's going to happen, and it's the nature of the beast, and it's not going to change. And hope it doesn't change, because that's just the kind of that's just it. That you're going to have to get over it. It happens to everybody. You're not special because you're a woman. Sorry.
It also the other side of all of this is, I wrote this down because of this is kind of more stuff from the Anita events. I hate calling them the Anita events because there were other people on these panels, but
he's molesting his microphone. My ears need a safe space.
Oh,
Jesus.
Sorry.
Anyway,
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I was typing.
To me, he's so excited. He's like, keep talking. Tell me
I'm
about
just
it.
gonna keep
Sorry.
talking, you
Tell me
freaking
about the video
weirdos.
games. Tell me about the bad
So-
mercies.
I'm going to finish this point, goddammit. Alright, so it's
Carry on.
So it's the power plus God fucking damn it! I woke up too early. Power plus privilege. It is a thing. Like, I actually do agree that is a thing, but it's conditional.
Yeah.
Like, Anita in that circumstance did have more power than the audience.
Absolutely.
By definition.
Oh yes.
But
had
in
the mic,
another
she had the-
another situation, perhaps she has less power in a situation.
Oh yeah.
But
I would even
that's
say
the point. Is like, I really hate when people are just like, the wage gap doesn't exist. That is not true. The wage gap is a thing. An earnings gap may be a better name for it, but it is a thing in the world, and we can't just deny that something
it's the
exists.
earnings gap. It's because you work less, therefore you get paid less. You know.
I know, but the thing is, like, power plus privilege is a thing, and we can't just say that it doesn't.
I think
the
the
nuance
problem
gets
is
destroyed.
Well,
they take it out of context, right? They remove it from context. They're like, power plus privilege means that white people cannot, you cannot be racist against white people. It doesn't exist. And that's like, yeah, you can. I mean, there are certain places in the world, or even in America, where a white person is discriminated against.
Well, it was Sargon himself who tweeted out a lot of reminders about the things that she had said on Twitter. This is Anita. And Anita had said exactly that. She's the one who said, just flat out, there's no such thing as sexism against men, because sexism is prejudice plus power. Men are the dominant gender with power in society, so you cannot be sexist against men.
And of course,
I agree, but I think that's like. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, man. I spoke over you. Go ahead.
We're far too polite on the internet. That's impossible.
I'm Canadian. I can't help it. I was just gonna say, like, they ignore. Like, you want to argue that women have it worse in some spheres of their fine, right? But I will tell you this, as a newly divorced man.
Congratulations, by the way.
Such a thing. Thank you. There is such a thing as female privilege. When it comes to the law, they fucking own that shit.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And there's the thing too. Like, there's things like men kill themselves more. Men are more likely to be homeless. There's a lot of things that affect men in a way that don't affect women. And if you want to talk about inequality and privileges and how to fix that, address all of it. But to even bring up the fact that, like, for instance, men kill themselves more. There's more men go to wars. More men are more likely to be homeless, right? To be drug addicts and all these things. It's they don't like talking about that. So it's not so much about bridging the gap of inequality and injustice. It's about our team.
Yeah, it's the whole, it's all tribalistic in nature, and you can't have any sort of it is an us versus them mentality. It's us,
what Tonka Sala would say. They're wearing jerseys.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
But
And when you when you have signs like this, and you have this name like Anita, who is so loud, who has such a big apparently she has a big following. Like, they did show up on her panel, but she has a big following somewhere. But when you can label your entire opposition as because she sees men as the opposition, men are the opposition to her. You can't even be sexist against them. There's a level of dehumanization that comes in there. Because if you can take your enemies and you could say, oh, no, it doesn't apply to us when we do it because they are such and such, and that factors into the identity politics.
They're the bad people, so everything goes.
Yeah, I mean, you can't oppress the Jews, so anything we do to the Jews is fine. You can't dehumanize slaves because they're subhuman. They're not really people. I mean, if you phrase it in the right way, you can convince anybody to do anything to another person.
Justify just about anything. Like terrorists, that's their reasoning. They are infidels, so everything goes.
Right.
This is why like I hate people using statistics in very overarching ways, which is why I was trying to interrupt when everyone was talking about them.
Mm-hmm.
Because like if you use the statistics like that, you create a image of an entire demographic of people that's just inaccurate. Like, well, that's the problem with statistics. It's not inaccurate. It just isn't representative. Because you could under that definition, if I looked at any man, I could just say you're more likely to kill yourself than I don't know, blah 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 blah. It's like you're more likely to be homeless, and it's like what does that do? Why?
Yeah, it's like
because you can't.
They take the norm, right?
Sorry, I take lots of pauses, and it's misleading to people.
They take the means, right? Basically, this is the average, so therefore you're part of the average. But that doesn't really apply to the individual, right? That's the problem with statistics, is that they can be very misleading in that sense. And people usually, and I noticed this especially on the feminist side, they'll be using statistics to point out how so and so, like 1 in 4 women is raped in college. So they'll point at a woman and be like, "Are you the 1 in 4?" And it's like, what?
Oh, that's one of the most egregiously mean things to do, because it's like targeted toward women going into college.
And it's a bogus stat anyway.
It's a bogus stat, yeah.
And
it's absolutely bogus stat.
You tell someone there's a 25% chance that, oh, by the way, you're going to be sexually assaulted at college.
No, you see, this is the thing about statistics.
Just so you know.
If you actually read the study, that's not what it says. Like, even if that study had some methodology problems, but even if you took the conclusion at face value...
Well, self-reported, right? It was all self-reported.
No, but I agree. There's issues with the study. But if you read the study's conclusions at face value, all it would actually mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, is if you were in the people that responded to that study, then there is a 25% chance of that population being sexually assaulted under the definitions of this paper.
Yeah, and the definitions are very broad. Right, they're very broad definitions. Like a person grabbed my ass, therefore that's sexual assault, right? I mean, and it's arguable whether that is or isn't.
But they would. My ass.
Well, that's a terrible example, because of course
they would lump that in. Yeah, they would lump that in with rape, and it's like, hold on a minute, yeah, it's not. It really isn't, So that's the problem with that, and they keep citing it over and over again. And this is just one study. There's essentially what they're saying is that being in American college is more dangerous than living in fucking Somalia as a woman. It's like, hold on a moment, that's not right. That doesn't seem right.
No one understands statistics, and it bothers the hell out of me, because it's like everything is dependent on the sample size, everything is dependent on the methodology, everything is dependent on everything in the paper. But people read the conclusion, or even worse, the title, and then they're just like, "Oh, this represents all of America."
That's good enough. That's all I need to know.
Like, census data doesn't represent all of America.
No, it doesn't. It's just the number of people who actually fill it in. Yeah.
It's the closest we got. But
it's how we got the 98% chance of Hillary going to win the U.S. presidency. She obviously didn't win.
I like it when they talk about. I like it when they talk about all the unreported rapes.
Oh yeah,
they find out how many
part.
Unreported rapes there are.
How do you know it's unreported if you don't report it?
I'm reporting that I didn't report this rape.
And going back to Anita, she's one of those people who pushes this idea that half of the population of people who play video games, are women, right? But there's a problem again with this statistic. It's that what are they using to define the term gamer? Because they said something like only 1 in 10 people identify as gamers, right?
Oh, so it makes it even worse, because it's not just defining what is a gamer or what are video games, but it's also who the hell even cared to respond to any of this?
Right, yeah,
I didn't respond to that. I didn't respond to that survey.
Polled, man.
Yeah.
I've never been polled for anything in my life.
Yeah, it's such bullshit, and it's saying, oh, half of people who play video games are gamers, and how are you defining this? Oh, it means people who own a phone that's capable of running fucking
Candy
Bejeweled.
Crush. Yeah.
Yeah, they have Candy Crush or Bejeweled or something, and therefore you're a gamer. Like, hold on a moment, that's not right.
Yeah.
No. You see, again, that is
are
perfectly fine, but that's just what you need to know when you make the statement that half are gamers.
Like, disclaimer. We call gamers anybody who has ever played a game, including chess with your grandmother.
Oh yeah, and on top of that, they take that statistic, which is fine if they want to see people in general are gamers in general are 60% women or whatever nonsense that they pull out. They take that statistic and try to apply it to something like Call of Duty. They try to apply it to League of Legends or Dota 2 or World of Warcraft.
That really bugs me.
Not really the case.
It's like, well, half of gamers are women, so now let's talk about Call of Duty.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, half of the gamers who are playing Call of Duty right now are women. It's like, no, they're not. It's like
60%
fucking 98%
or whatever. So the new Call of Duty needs to have a woman.
It's more like fucking 90% or 90-10, 95-5. It's some crazy amount like that. And majority of people who play these games are gonna be 18-year-old boys. That's it. That's the reality of it. And I'm not erasing women. Yeah,
it's because of like everything we've been talking about. There's really no way of telling, definitively what your demographic is going to be for your next video game. You can kind of get a good idea from like previous sales if you're a game developer, but there's no real way of telling. I wish I could come up with an example of like a video game that was suddenly unbelievably popular in another country, for example. But that's happened before. And it was like, okay, I guess we'll just sell it there now.
Yeah, but hey, Bearing's in the chat. Hello, Bearing.
Bearing's in the chat. Why don't we send him an invite if he wants to come on?
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
I'll send him an invite.
Yeah.
But let me see. I'll get that. But it always does. That's one of the biggest things that bugs me. It always has been one of the biggest things that has ever bugged me, is that they'll use a demographic of a casual game. Very casual games, and then they'll use that to try and make changes to the hardcore games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just annoyed that they'll use any demographic data or any data like that whatsoever to make games, as opposed to just being like, "Hey, I have a really cool idea for a game. Oh, that does sound kind of cool. Let's see if it works."
I'm okay with them putting like a male/female option. Like Prey had a male and female option, right, for the main character, Morgan Yu, and that was cool. It worked out. Same with Dishonored 2.
Yeah,
you had Emily and you had Corvo, which is fine. It worked out really well. They were decently written. It's not the best written game, but whatever. And now that's not even enough. Anita is like following E3. Her biggest complaint was that there were no female exclusive video games. It's like, wow, you can't win. You can't fucking win. You got to have a female exclusive game, really.
And then you have there's nothing wrong with the female protagonist either, obviously. You can just
Lara
look
Croft
at
is a good example.
Yeah. You've got what was it? Wonder Woman just came out, for instance. Doesn't even have to be a game. That thing made a crap ton of money. It's about is it a good movie? Is it a good premise?
To go to a different media, there's a series of zombie books that was written by a woman and the main character is a woman. I went through those books as quickly as I could read them. They were fantastic.
But now it's almost like they have kind of poisoned the waters in terms of seeing the depiction of a woman, because sometimes it feels there's so much tokenization, I guess is a word for it, with characters that you're like, well, it's like normally I wouldn't care. But now they've kind of infected me with this line of thinking to where, is this person here just to fill in a diversity checkbox? Or is this actually a well-developed character that I need to really pay attention to and empathize with?
That was a problem with Horizon Zero Dawn, which is a fantastic game, by the way. I was playing that, I was enjoying it, but then you had all these fucking articles coming out before the game was even out saying this is a woke feminist game, and I'm like, did you even play the same game I did? Like, I'm playing it right now, and it's completely got nothing to do with feminism. It's gonna mean female character, and that's it. You know.
Well, that is it. That's all it takes. I did a response a while ago to someone who said, some feminist channel, and she said Horizon Zero Dawn is a feminist game because the protagonist is female. That's it. That's the only qualifier you need. The only qualifier you need to have it be a feminist game is to have the protagonist have a vagina. And it was about, well, it's like, no, this isn't a men's right activist game. If it's a male protagonist, it doesn't. That's not how it works. Like, just because you are something.
Here's the question: if you just completely excise yourself from the current political social climate, what would you think a feminist game would be? Like,
Well,
would it be something that actually promotes like female empowerment or equal right? Like, I don't know, like what a feminist game would actually be.
I don't know if you could take I don't think you could separate feminism from political activism.
Yeah, it has to be a politically activism-ish game. You know, like you
So
can't.
Like, actually, to be fair, like a retelling of like a dramatization of like the suffragettes would be an interesting game.
That would be an interesting game. Yeah.
Where you go out and fucking fuck every dude you find and get drunk and slammered and
I said dramatization.
that sounds awesome. Yeah, I know, it's fucking awesome. Nemesis just sent me
I
$5.
expect there'd be
Thanks,
vampires at some
Nemesis. He said E3 makes female exclusive game. Anita complains they're trying to push women into a separate corner to maintain the quote unquote boys club.
Oh my god, that would happen, wouldn't it?
That sounds about right. Dude,
Yeah.
okay, one of Anita's first videos that I saw was arguing how Lego doesn't make anything for girls, right? And because they're like, oh, you know, the look at the box, it's blue, which is a boy color. And right off the bat, I'm like,
Misogynist trash box.
No, I mean,
And,
that's like,
and then
it's like, who
so
says
she's
blue
like, oh.
is a boy's color? Like, what the hell's that?
Exactly. Like, I was watching this video and she's like, look at, like, in the picture, there's a bunch of like little Lego figures right in the corner of the box, indicating like which figures come in the box. The box is blue and it's like a car or whatever. And she's like, look at this, it's very masculine and all this. So Lego goes and tries to make like what, like Lego is taking her for her word. Okay, it's blue. That's you're ascribing the gender role that is a color for boys, and there's like too many of the minifigs are men. Whatever, so they made one that's like pink with like minifigs with like long hair. And in the same video, she's complaining about this. She's like, "Oh, now they made it pink, right? Because it's..." And I'm like, "You're the one who set out the rule. Blue is
It's
for
like
boys."
it's like orange, yellow, and green. These are the gender neutral
Supposed
colors.
to fucking do like there's no winning with these people. There's no winning because they're not looking.
No, do you know what my fundamental question is? Whenever I get into like, I actually try to get into as many good, solid conversations with people I disagree with on this as I possibly can. And one of the questions I inevitably ask is, what is like the end game for you? Like, what is a perfect, not a perfect, but what's like a good
Patreon
after all of this?
Patreon.
Ideal. Yeah,
but it's very difficult to get like an actual answer.
Yeah, at what point
like-
will you no longer be required to be
They won't admit
activists
it.
for feminism? What are all the prerequisites that would have to be met to where you could finally say we have achieved total equality, where we have finally gotten to the point where we don't have to worry about it anymore? It's like, there's a reason we don't have any more abolitionists, right?
Right.
Because they've
Right.
accomplished their goal. So
and yet you still have
point
people like Tariq Wash Your Ass Nasheed, you know?
Yeah, he blocked me on Twitter. I'm so upset because I can't see his hilarious things.
Wait, am I blocked on Twitter? I don't think I've ever spoken.
I'm
to
not
him.
blocked by him because he likes to he wants to engage with me. You know, the thing that I noticed with these people is that they love engaging with people because it gives them ammunition, right, to rant about to their followers. So they don't block anybody that they think they can dunk on or reply to publicly.
Oh yeah, I hate that. It really bugs me, and I interact with a lot of, like, you know, console peasant fanboy types, and it is insane how quick they will block you for the tiniest thing. It doesn't even have to be even anything against them. It could be just honest questions, wanting explanations or whatever. Block doesn't matter. Block doesn't matter. Block doesn't matter. And it's also bad how proud they are to say, I'm just going, I'm blocking everybody. And it's like, yo, okay.
No,
And
this seems to come from.
You go ahead.
sorry, Max. This is the other big point I took away from the Anita event. There seems to be a fundamental misunderstanding what harassment is.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, that's by design.
Maybe, or maybe
if you define harassment as broadly as possible, then you can claim anything as
exactly.
harassment.
If you set in concrete the definition of what harassment is for everybody, that's why the whole power privilege thing comes in. I can't be racist because I'm a minority. I can't be sexist because I'm a woman. You have to add in these modifiers, literally change definitions of words so you can skirt around the idea that it's okay for us. And when it comes down to harassment, that's why she has to add in the whole I can't be sexist thing.
It seems I'm not. Like this, I always assume in these situations that a lot of it is just incidental. Like people to keep their particular way, like to keep a particular way of seeing the world working. That it's just like, wait a minute, harassment doesn't work this way. It has to be different, otherwise all these other things I've been thinking don't actually work.
And her Q&A panel, it didn't last very long, did it?
I was on her Q&A panel, so yeah, it wasn't very long.
So what did you get to ask a question?
I did get to ask a question, and most of it was answered. It was what was my exact wording? It was something like I wanted them to define criticism, like what criticism actually is.
Oh, okay, I got you.
And yeah, I don't remember their exact answer. There's a recording.
Like, how do we not screw ourselves when we answer this question?
At first I wanted to ask a more pointed question on the whole, like, you're the person on the stage, how can you say that this isn't harassment, etc. But then all the people in front of me were getting kicked off, so I'm like, okay, I'll go for my secondary question where I actually get a real answer.
Yeah, it was they had a couple really good questions that were just completely dropped or dodged. I think someone had asked basically what was it? Because there was a couple. I'm trying to think of them all.
Well, there was one that was just like, do you actually believe this?
Yeah.
And it was just straight up, oh, come on, man. Get him away. Make him leave.
I was like, you should answer that. And you should say
that would be the easiest fucking thing in the world to answer, because you'd just be like, of course.
Yeah, I believe everything that I say. I am firm in my convictions that I am a subhuman citizen in the eyes of men.
Like, I'll perfectly admit that's probably a poorly articulated question, but it's also one that would be really easy to answer.
Yeah, I was like, but it probably would have been better to say, are you sure you don't maybe exaggerate things that people do or say to you, or maybe the position that you're coming from, maybe you're being a little hyperbolic for. It's
I was walking around the convention a fair amount of time, and I would just hear some of the other, like, it doesn't make it very clear from the video, but there's like 4 stages, like all next to each other, and you can hear people in the area next to you. You can see the other stage basically to your left or your right.
It's a big warehouse, isn't it?
So it's basically in a giant warehouse type thing. But like I could overhear while walking around other people's question and answer sessions, and these were like, I remember, what's your favorite type of potatoes?
Yeah.
And I'm just like
I'm gonna go with Idaho Golden. It was like, fantastic answer. That is.
But it's like, you can answer stupid questions. Like, that's perfectly you're going to get them if you open it up to everybody.
She takes herself way too seriously. Yeah.
There's a question about why do you act like, why do you say men never get harassed? How come you're always stuff like that? There was some question that she just outright. There's one really legitimate, excellent question.
That was Joey Salads.
That was Joey Salads. Yeah.
I don't know this sort of stuff he produces, but
White Ninja just gave $10. He said sub to Laddie. I don't know.
I have no idea who that is.
I think he misspelled Deter.
That's a very drastic misspell.
Deter starts with an L.
It's fine. I have trouble spelling it sometimes as well.
Sub to Deter for $10, sure.
Actually, I know this might be surprising, but Deter Locum's not my real name.
What?
So I've never had to spell it. So like during the convention, like people wanted me to sign things occasionally, and I'm like, fuck, I have no signature.
Yeah.
The first time I actually wrote a B for some reason, I'm like, fuck, there's no B in this name.
Beat her. Beat her. Don't beat her.
There's a thought bot in the chat right now.
Hello guys, I'm so alone today. If you want to know where to find me, here, sex1.pro.
There's a domain and now.
Thought. That hole over there. So, Anita, in reading her article, it tells me that, that she considers her act of aggression against Sargon of Akkad as punching up. That's a language that they like to use when they basically do bad things and they try to justify it. They'll be like, "Well, I'm punching up. I'm decolonizing this space." And I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Decolonizing.
Yeah, decolonizing because
How you
Colonialize your mind.
Wouldn't decolonize first have to start with like removing the government?
Yes, it would. And she's Armenian. She's Armenian, so she's basically white. I don't understand how a person like her, can decolonize anything when she is essentially an immigrant like anybody else. She's not Native American, so there's no decolonizing anything.
Like decolonize doesn't even make sense on a small scale. Like
no, it doesn't. Yeah, that's the problem.
How
with
could
these
you?
people.
How even could you? Like,
You're
what does that
colonizing
mean?
my panel
They say
with your
that.
presence.
They say that because it sounds very benign. Oh, an injustice was committed against the Native Americans. We must decolonize, and then they extrapolate that to let's decolonize everything. But what does that actually mean for the people who say is anybody saying that willing to say move to Europe because that's where the quote unquote white people are from? What does that mean?
No, decolonialize. I've heard it used in a way to represent to de-Westernize.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a terrible idea.
That is a
It's
terrible
a bad idea.
That's
a bad idea.
That's not a good. No, do not. No, don't do it.
Yeah, like you want to decolonize Asia, then we start building mud huts again. That'd be perfect. If we want to.
Have you seen primitive technology? It seems like
It's
just
just
amazing.
amazing. It's so
Relaxing
good. It's
time.
so good for the environment, though.
Oh yeah. These
Wait,
people,
isn't it? If we all went back to like mud huts and needing to chop wood,
it'd be a bad idea.
Primary
Too many of us.
source,
How
we'd,
much
like,
of the
burn down all of
environment
our
can you
trees
destroy
pretty
when you
quickly.
only live to be 28?
Look at Brazil, right?
Okay,
Like,
I
know
have.
you-
It sucks.
Like right now?
Yeah, it sucks, right? There's all these slums. There's these. I don't know if you call them barrios over there or whatever, right?
We call them favelas.
Favelas, thank you. Yeah, so there's all these favelas, and they're all living in essentially very low-rise buildings. And those places have been so-called decolonized. They're not great places to live. And most people who live there want to leave, right? They want to get the fuck out of there but they have no means to do so because, hey, you need money to do that, right? So
it's fucking terrible.
Yeah. And these people, these fucking communists, they live in the fucking communes, which are like rundown apartment buildings that no one is maintaining.
Look, that's not real communism.
No, it's not real communism.
They'll
say that. Yeah, they love saying
Go
that.
home, Reds.
It didn't work out. It's not real communism.
Thanks that gamer for $10. No message. Come on.
Oh yeah, give us a message.
No,
It's a wasted opportunity right there.
Tell me to
Hey,
say.
guys, it's
titty
that
sprinkles or
game.
Tell somebody to fuck off or something. You know what? Just to cut you off real quick. The thing about it's not true socialism. It's not true communism. The thing I find hilarious about that is that they will say that of the people who were deeply involved with the doctrine and the party, and they were living in the time in the world where they were truly trying that. The Stalins, the Lenins, they look at those people. Oh, those are real socialists.
No. I've been on Tumblr. I know what socialism is.
I know.
I'm
They don't know.
Yeah,
I read some stuff on Wikipedia. I know.
Yeah,
It's actually hilarious because it's
That's
like
hilarious. That's hilarious. Like, dude, no, those guys created this shit and it didn't work. What makes you think? Like, the reason you think it's not real is because you read the most idealized you read the theory on the most idealized version of this that could not possibly exist in the real world, and you think that that's defense of the system. If the system could not exist in the real world, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
When people read fiction and they forget that in a work of fiction, especially. When you have a lot of these utopia kind of societies, you remember it is a single person controlling every single aspect of what happens in this fantasy. So it works just because the author says it works. And people forget that a lot of the times. It's like Harry Potter, it wouldn't fucking work in real life. Like, it works in a book because somebody has the ability to control every aspect of the universe. We have camera phones. Yeah.
Yeah. They love, okay, if you look at anyone from Eastern Europe, whether it's the older generation or the younger one who've listened to the older generation, they will tell you that communism and even hardcore socialism do not work. These are bad ideas. They essentially have to be imposed using authoritarian regimes because that's the only way you can get people to give up their stuff.
Exactly.
Right?
You don't even have to go that far. Look at Venezuela, man. They ruined that country.
It takes
they fucking ruined it.
To have people voluntarily give up so much control over their personal property, their personal freedoms, it would take brainwashing.
It would take brainwashing, and it's not working in Brazil. And look at how wealthy the people in power are. Maduro is a fucking rich scumbag, right? And he's using his police forces to
just
fuck
like
people
Castro.
over.
Just like Castro.
Just like Castro.
Dude was loaded. The fucking dude was loaded. The country went down into the ground, but he was loaded. It's just a matter of who gets to be at the top. Yeah. And don't be concerned with the idea is not to be concerned with even how rich the richest are, but how rich kind of everybody is. It's like, who cares if the rich are getting richer if everyone's getting richer?
Yeah, and on top of that, people love to bring up the healthcare system in Cuba. They're like, oh, well, it's all free, right? Well, there's 3 tiers. There's, the elites, they get a special system. The tourists get a special system. And then there's everybody else who gets to deal with fucking disposable gloves that they wash and reuse over and over again and reuse syringes. It's disgusting. There's multitudes of articles out there, from people who live there and people who, journalists who went and stayed there, Gonzo style. And they were talking about how fucking horrible it is. And Baron just joined the chat.
Hello, Bear.
Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Who is your favorite Care Bear?
I'm fucked if I know, man. I probably should have an answer for that, shouldn't I? Probably should have some sort of witty, zingy fucking reply.
Thank God this isn't on my channel.
Yeah. Hey, you know that panel, that feminist panel thing. Don't you got to admit, at least a little part of you wishes that some cunt got up and just said, "This is for Anita. How would you like to suck my motherfucking cock
right now?
And if you don't want to do it, I'll take one of your other bitches."
I'll say this, Baring. It would have been funny as fuck, but then they would have used that forever.
I hope you didn't want to come back to VidCon.
Oh no! I'm not talking about me. I'm just talking about some random cunt.
I'd
love to watch that kind of thing.
What's amusing of that is our entire both sides would have just been like fuck off, be quiet, get out of here. Right, everyone was trying really hard to be as respectful and
Sorry, let me
listen as possible.
I got some messages.
Don't ruin it for me, man.
Comrade Dog gave me $10. Thanks very much.
I'm sorry, Baron. I have to live in the real world.
Patrick the Babble, $10. This is the most garbage podcast, and I hope you throw yourselves away. If you keep giving us money, it'll be as garbage as you want. Gamer, $5. Fuck you and Rags. Fuck me hard, Daddy. P.S. I forgot to make a message. Oh, fair enough. Stick with that next time. And Comrade Doge, another $5. Thank you. He said, "Choke me, Daddy." So there we go.
Nice.
You have some quality chat, people.
I do. May it
were you really on the? Were you actually on the panel, Deter?
I wasn't on the panel.
I thought you said you were on the panel.
No, I was just in
He's
the.
He's not woke enough to be on the panel.
I was in the audience.
Oh shit! Chili Silly Willy, $100.
Whoa,
Get that bisexual bar going.
Chili Silly Willy.
Shit. Man.
Hang on, check it's not pesos or something. That gets you. That fucking gets you.
$100.
It's all in stolen Bitcoin. Watch out.
It's all in Bitcoin. 100 Bitcoin dollars.
So Rags is getting us breakfast, is what you're saying?
You just bought me Waffle House for 12 trips or something. Get that bisexual bar going. Thanks very much, Chili, for the 100.
Somebody donated 500 of something.
What's sex?
What's that?
What are sex?
Yeah, see, they're the ones. They're the ones I'm talking about. They're the ones.
Swedish krona.
Swedish
krona. Yeah,
Nicholas, yeah. Well, yeah, with a name like Nicholas Jansson. Thank you. For
Yeah,
the
that's the
crumbs,
most Swedish
bro.
name I've ever heard. That's $57.78 in case you're wondering.
Hell yeah, love your videos, Rags. You always get me in a mood, in a good mood, mate. Thank you. Thank you,
Wait, so now,
Nicholas.
wait,
Bearing
so
walks
are
in and
people
people
trying?
start
Are people
throwing
trying to
money
like
at me.
outdo each other in donations?
There's nothing wrong with that. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. And if
That means-
anyone
that means
tells
you're a
you
good
there's
person.
something wrong
Pay
with
your
that,
bills,
you punch
people.
him in the face with money. Baron can come back
Yep.
anytime. Everyone's going crazy now.
Yeah, wouldn't it be good if you could like if you could really whip them up into like a competition like that? That'd be.
Oh, that would be fucking amazing. Then I'd start a religion.
I tell you, Tits did a fucking stream with like heaps of chicks on it, and the fucking hell, they got like I reckon they got over $1,000. It's ridiculous.
The first stream
I couldn't,
that I
I
did,
couldn't even.
I got
None of them
over
are on camera. You couldn't even see any tits or anything. It's just chick voices. You just got to get voice changes, man. That's the key.
Wait, so should I just speak closer to my microphone?
Well, you make the voice
Hello,
sound
everyone.
sound like this.
as ladylike as possible.
Don't tell me
I'll
what
be
to
Anita.
next.
You gotta do it. You gotta. Think of all the money I'll make.
I love your Anita vids, Bearing. They're fantastic. I was listening to them earlier.
A surprising amount of people thought that last one was like actual reporting on the news. Like I was like it happened. It actually happened.
Well, congratulations,
Yeah.
you're a journalist now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I most certainly am not. But fucking that surprised me. That I didn't think anyone would take that at all anywhere near seriously.
Well, you do a better job at journalism than a lot of so-called journalists, you know. So.
What a
Props to
meaningless
you.
word nowadays half the time.
Oh yeah.
I'm a
I know,
journalist.
All these fucking bloggers, you know. You can thank Gawker for that.
Oh yeah. Dude, they had that movie coming out about Gawker versus Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, it's on Netflix right now. Yeah.
Ugh. And remember, Gawker's the good guys.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Wait, they
Oh,
make them out to be the good guys in that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gawker's
Yeah, they do.
the good
No
guys.
Oh yeah.
How did it? I don't want to watch it, but now I have to.
Was that over a sex tape? Was that Hulk Hogan's
Yes, it was
sex
Hulk
tape?
Hogan's sex tape. Yeah, that was
How
ultimate.
can you
Yeah.
possibly.
That they were
Possibly
court
make that.
ordered to take down, and they decided to go against the court order. And
No,
somehow-
the people need to know.
Yeah, they need to watch him have sex.
They need to see
Like,
his
if
dick,
you
I
did,
guess.
like a whistleblowing movie or something, it would be like, okay, this is information that like people think the American public needs to know, but this is a sex tape.
It's a sex tape, and on top of that, this I saw some clips from the video. I mean, the movie. It was going on about how it's wrong for Peter Thiel or any other rich person to fund the lawsuit of anybody else. And I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, no, that's not right. People get into lawsuits all the time, and they can't afford it. You know, which is why you need a patron sometimes, and that's normal. You know. Keep in mind that Gawker and Hulk Hogan. This wasn't the only time they fucked up. They did a whole mess of bad shit. Like they doxed all the gun owners in New York State, for example. Did they ever get into trouble with that? No. Yeah, they never got in trouble for it, right? But
They got some politician guy who was like Tinder or grindering some dude. Do you guys remember that?
yeah, I remember that.
New
Yeah,
York,
I
think it was?
forget the name, but I remember when they did.
No,
that.
Nestle.
Yeah.
It was a Nestle guy. It was a Nestle CEO. I remember it better now.
he was
They,
gay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and he was talking to some guy, and then he decided he got cold feet, and the gay dude who was texting the CEO dude sent the screenshots to somebody in Gawker, and they wrote a story about it.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
They also
that's really
outed
fucked
Peter
up.
Thiel. Yeah, Peter Thiel was.
But hang on a sec. So was this guy? This guy put his real name into Grindr? I wouldn't have thought he'd do that.
I think they used his photos or something like that. You know, like they
Oh,
identified him that way. Yeah, it didn't actually use his he didn't actually use his name. He was trying to be anonymous,
He
which is
should've
what
just
those
said-
services are for.
He should have just
Yeah.
said he was trying to show his kids that tentacle porn was real.
Oh God, dude.
Oh, Nemesis, thanks for the $5. Can't wait to hear what Rags has to say about Bethesda Creation Club. Don't worry,
Oh god.
that'll pop up again. That cancer.
What's Bethesda Creation Club? What does that mean?
Do
It's-
you like
it's a
paying for
pay to-
mods? Do
pay
you
for
like
mods,
paying
yeah.
Bethesda to mod your games?
Oh right.
Yeah.
Dude, the modding community is the only reason a lot of those games are still being played.
Yeah.
I think I'm just going to be real.
Yeah, it
Could
is.
echo
I
wall.
had to mod Fallout 4 to finish the first playthrough. But when you mod it well enough, it turns into a really good game. You just have to mod the shit out of
Oh
it.
yeah.
When you
yeah.
say mod, do you mean
For Fallout
do you mean
4,
like-
I only- for Fallout 4, I
do-
only include like 3 mods. Sorry, Barry.
No, do you mean like adding custom like characters or something?
Yeah, some of those.
The modding
mods
gets
are
way more
everything.
involved now.
Modding can be everything from changing balance and numbers and the math of the game, to making new graphics, to changing options, to allowing you to create things, it's everything. Anything you could do to a game. It's the open canvas of video games is modding, where people take a game and they just do whatever they want to it. Modding is a huge... If you want to get a list, Nexus Mods is where I use my mods, where a lot of people get their mods from, and you can just go there and type in like Fallout or Skyrim and stuff. Just look down the list of the things people have done.
Do people sell them? Do some people like do it as a professional thing?
I don't know if you can do it as a professional thing. I know a lot of people.
Bethesda wants to do it.
That's what Bethesda wants to do. Companies are trying to monetize it because mods are so popular and people love them so much because there's so much freedom and community creativity that goes into it. And currently, mods are basically all free. Someone makes a mod, they put it up on a site, and you could say, hey, can you donate to me? Can you give me some cash because I did all this work? But there are mods out there. You can use it as much as you want, mod your game however you like. And now companies are really starting to try and take advantage of mods as a source of money.
It's a secondary source of money, right? They make a very small amount on whatever it is they sell. Most of the money is going to go to the people who create the mods. The idea is essentially to incentivize like really prolific modders to create their own DLC that they can sell or just get money for.
It puts mods behind a paywall, basically.
Unfortunately,
And so instead of you being able to mod to your heart's content this game, now you can't put this mod into a game that some person made because Bethesda said, oh, you have to go through us to buy credits to download that mod that somebody else made, and we get a chunk of that and they get a chunk of that. But if you're basically it says if you don't want to pony up the bucks, you can't mod your game. It's them stepping in to try and make money on that.
It will still be, like the Nexus mods are free, right? They're still gonna be free. It's just it's an option for certain people.
And I think it is and it's a console thing. I don't think Bethesda Creation Club exists on PC, does it?
I have no idea.
But that sounds
I have no idea.
Because console players will fucking pay for anything. So
So are you against console players, or you're against them?
I don't have anything against console players, no.
Yeah, but what team are you on? Are you a console player? Are you flying that flag, or are you?
No, I play on PC. I only play on PC.
Yeah, right. Yeah, cool.
But I don't have anything against people who play on console just because they play on console. But a lot of people who play on console like to talk shit and smack, especially about PC. And they tend to have some very, I would go almost as far as to say that it's almost cult-like in a way that they idolize their consoles and like this upcoming Xbox One X and companies, and there's a lot of corporate slavery that goes on, and it's really weird. So we like to use.
Are they mostly younger guys?
Honestly,
console?
These are grown ass men.
Yeah.
So you go to these channels like Crap Gamer and Mooch and stuff like JTech TV, little channels like this, and it's almost religious. They're propaganda channels for consoles because they have console wars. My console is better than your console. My corporation's better than your corporation. And they go at each other, and they have these little teams, and they just say nasty things to each other, all sorts of stuff. It's really bad.
Do like diss wars on like which console company's better? That's
kind of, yeah. I mean, kind of. I mean, at its most lighthearted aspect, yeah, that's what it is, in its most. Its most docile form, but they can be outright nasty to one another, and a lot of the times they'll tell lies about other platforms and things, and that's kind of how I got started. Was as someone who used to play on console exclusively, who moved to PC gaming, and who now only does that. That's kind of was something that I felt I wanted to start making videos on, but I feel we've really strayed from Anita and harassment and video games and all that stuff a bit. Just a second, Nicholas Jensen.
That tends to happen in these streams quite a bit, yeah.
Nicholas, you gave me another 100 crones, and that's awesome, dude. Thank you very much. He said, Rags, quick question. What do you think of what Rockstar decided to disable modding even in single player, ruining the way for people to have fun in single player? Yeah, that's with the Open 4 situation that happened, but that's an entirely other discussion. and I'll get around to that because I've been tweeting stuff out about it, but I don't like the way that's all turning out. But luckily, it seems like things are kind of on the up and up, at least in terms of open forum modding. Rockstar.
Yeah, it wasn't even Rockstar's fault for that one.
It was Take-Two.
Like, it was Take-Two, yeah, and Rockstar's sort of competing against what Take-Two has done.
So Nemesis sent $5. Thanks, Nemesis. He said, "I'm worried about Nexus since GTA 5 mods got shut down." I wouldn't grab your torches and pitchforks yet in that regard, but one should always be wary, just in case. Be vigilant.
Rags. There was also Dalton Lambert gave $2 a while ago. They got eaten by the other ones.
Thank you, Dalton.
I am a poor man. Is the
poor man? Now you're poor. Yeah. Thank you for making yourself poor on my behalf, or for my.
The people who run those YouTube channels about the console wars, I have a feeling that 10 years from now, one of them is going to write a book, and it's going to be about how Halo changed their life, and they're going to be Movie Bob 2.0, and then they're going to... here's a quote from his book, because he used to be engaged in the console wars, and this is a super cringe thing, so trigger warning to all you folks out there. In my memories, the great console wars dragged on like my own private Vietnam, and it didn't help.
Oh God, I remember that bit.
Yeah, I'm not going to read the rest because it just gets worse and worse. But oh my God.
There's nothing wrong with liking what you play on. There's nothing wrong with what you play on.
Yeah, like I love the PC. That's my platform of choice. I'm not going to begrudge a person for getting an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4. I have a PlayStation 4, right? I have a PS Vita, I have a 3DS, but the PC is where I game on because that's where I like my games, right? It's just a preference. And
what do you do on your console then? What else do you do on your console? Other than play
watch nothing really. I just play games. Yeah, I mean, I guess you can watch movies on it, but I don't really need one because I got one of those smart TVs, so I can just use Netflix from there or Plex.
Thanks, Dalton, for the $2. I'm a console player and a PC player. That's fair enough. And Nicholas gave another 69 crones. # no homo.
I was just about to ask that if there's any like hybrid gang members, like hybrid.
Oh yeah, there's
PCs.
tons. There's tons. Most people start playing on consoles. They're simpler than PCs. They're a bit more all in one. You could just go to the store. You could buy one. You could bring it home. You could plug it into your, television or your monitor. You could make your account. You could update it. All that stuff. It's fairly easy. Pretty much anyone can do it. So a lot of people kind of start gaming there. When kids get video games, it's on a console. It's where a lot of people start out. And then over time, like where I was only Xbox. I only played on Xbox. I do other stuff at friends' houses and things like that. But but then I just got sick of the bad performance. I got sick of the terrible visuals. I got sick of having to aim with the controller. I just wanted the freedom and the openness of PC gaming and the performance of it, so I made the switch.
Yeah. Fuck, that's a bit after my time. When I was like a younger kid, it was all about Sega versus fucking Nintendos, man. That's how old I am.
There you go.
Yeah.
I was a Nintendo cunt.
Caleb gave $28.
Australian dollars, I guess?
Australian dollars, yeah.
Australian dollars. Doing security work at the moment, listening to you guys while I sit here watching a door. Thanks for a great week.
I did security work for like 3 years.
Thank you for guarding that door.
Oh, some known white guy.
Thank you for your service.
I love the avatar of someone known white guy.
Great. No, he gave me a lot of money earlier. I used a lot of that to get upgrade my PC here. He said,
Telcom X.
Yeah, Telcom X. That's right. Anita Sarkeesian changed my life. Kill all the disabled in the Ubermensch. Quote from Movie Blob. Movie Blob. Sorry.
Movie Blob.
Movie Blob.
I can't even laugh, and I just feel so sorry for him. Because can you imagine being that guy every day? You go to bed, you're Movie Blob. You wake up, you're still Movie Blob. Fuck.
You can't escape from yourself.
You wake up, you're like, oh shit, it's still me. Like that guy's just so sad. And I don't even mean the looks. I mean just like the everything.
Everything about him is the worst. Like the guy.
Movie Bob is awful. Look, he's
god awful.
He is a vile person.
he's a vile fucking person. Like I don't normally rag on people for like looking fat or funny or whatever. There's God knows there's a ton of those people out there, right? But Movie Bob,
right here.
yeah, Movie Bob though, he's a special breed of human, right?
The thing with Movie Bob is that I think it's the biggest disconnect of who he is and what he looks like and what he does to how he perceives himself.
He thinks he's
the biggest gap ever.
He thinks he's the most virtuous, amazing white knight that has ever night whited. He's the most amazing person in the world. He's a legend in his own mind. Yeah. And he is
I will admit I didn't know who you're talking about. I've just looked him up. He's pretty bad.
You don't know Movie Bob?
I don't know Movie Bob either.
Wow.
Sargon did a good video a long time ago. That's a good way to start off, where Movie Bob defends Anita Sarkeesian. Because Movie Bob.
Oh, here he is with Anita here. I'm looking at a photo now.
Yeah,
He's giving the guy thumbs up. That's fucking pathetic.
But they are.
Oh, God.
Oh, Nemesis, $2. Thanks much. He said, well, at least he's not Anthony Birch.
Who's that? That I don't know.
Anthony Birch is the guy who wrote Borderlands 2, and he's the biggest cuck on the internet. The biggest cuck. I mean,
I will
taking Steve Jobs into consideration here.
Anytime you look up the word cuck, he's gonna come up. He's him. It's him. It's because he when Anita Sarkeesian tweeted at him once, he had that fucking tweet framed up and put on his desk.
What?
Wow.
Fuck.
Yeah, and he like his Twitter profile is Anthony Birch, sorry.
What's he sorry for?
The only excuse for that is if he's Canadian. Is he Canadian?
My favorite apology on the internet.
I don't know.
Oh, by the way, Zachary Stevens, thanks for the 10 Australian dollarinos. I got a PC so I could run Minecraft with fancy graphics.
Nice.
Oh, hell
4K
yeah.
Minecraft.
Get those shaders up. Like,
oh yeah, that's
Minecraft
right. This is
really
2017, and they're trying to sell us Skyrim and Minecraft again. Of course. Why wouldn't that be?
Of course they are.
Why wouldn't that be?
Dude, I would totally play Skyrim and Minecraft.
I still play Minecraft every once in a while. Truth be told, can always go back to Minecraft.
The fact that Anthony Birch is related to Ashley Birch, who, by the way, people may not like her politics. I don't like her politics either. I don't enjoy them, but she's a good voice actress, so she's got that going for her.
What did she do?
She is the main character in Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh,
She's also the blue-haired chick in Life is Strange. She's got a pretty good range. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's a good voice actress. But Anthony, though, he is not so good. Like the guy, he used to work for Destructoid, and he would make these really, like, he was Reverend Anthony. He'd make these really cringe videos, and back in the day, these were the shitlords, right? They were the shitlords of our time, I guess, or their time. They had, Jim Sterling, like, you know how everybody's going on about how we're all shitlords, we're all garbage humans who say terrible things. Go watch an old Destructive podcast. They're terrible in that. They're making Holocaust jokes that we wouldn't even approach. Yeah. And now they're all like male feminist allies. And it's like, really? You guys are the male feminist allies? You pieces of shit? Are you fucking kidding me?
It's like when that whole situation happened with, what was it? The PewDiePie thing. And then they found one of the dudes, I forget his name. He had a bunch of like Holocaust jokes and things like that. And he's all writing up this storm about how PewDiePie made a joke. And he's so offended. Like, they did the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
The same thing.
Yeah. Was that the Wall Street Journal guys?
Yeah. I forget his name.
And there was a guy more recently, where he went after, I forget who it was that he went after, but oh god, my dog is annoying me right now. But it was a BuzzFeed dude. He was ranting about how someone had made some racist comments or something like that. But then he made like literal videos where he's doing like the Sikh Heil and all and posing at swastikas.
Oh yeah, that rings a bell. Fuck, who was that?
Yeah, shit. I wrote about him and I can't remember his name, yeah.
It wouldn't be a problem if people, like, just levied criticism on people's ideas instead of making it like you have to be a paragon of absolute virtue or you're not allowed to say anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's really irritating.
You could do the virtue equivalent of self-flagellation before the Church of Feminism.
Yep.
like Movie Bomb does, like a lot of these people do. It's like I'm a pathetic, horrible, terrible male who's even worse. I'm white, and if I show them how much I hate myself for just being what I am, they'll accept me into their fold, and I'll become one of them.
Yeah, but I mean, even if they do start responding to criticism, responding with criticism, they've got to answer the criticism they get as well. And
that's what Anita is infamous for. Is like never addressing criticism. Really, she is deflection. She's dodging.
Oh, yes.
She just will
why
not address
would
any
I
of
mean?
it.
Think about it. Why would she? She has
it's lose-lose.
establishment on her side, so they're going to justify and they're going to run defense for her no matter what. Why would you bother even?
Well, you think she'd bother for because she's got integrity? That's what you'd fucking think.
Anita integrity? Are we talking about the same Anita?
Yeah, but she.
Yeah. I mean, I realise she hasn't, but I mean, you'd like to presume that's a sort of a starting point.
You would like to put out the idea. You want your image to be one of integrity, but she has none. She is a huge liar.
This is why Anita is probably one of my top people. I would love to have a sit down, nice conversation, just to be let's actually talk to each other like two people talking to each other, because everyone, I understand from the things that Anita has said that there is a lot of vitriol getting thrown at her. I understand where that comes from, but it's she's had to have built this wall around her at this point just because of the narrative that she's created for herself. And I'm pretty sure if you actually were able to talk to her like a person, a lot of this would just start disappearing, and you'd be like, oh, that was you protecting yourself because of how the internet has been responding. Or I'm making a lot of assumptions, obviously, but I'm pretty sure based on all these other conversations people have been having these last couple weeks, it seems like I'm pretty sure she's a real person.
Deep down
she
somewhere.
I think she benefits from it. She benefits from having an enemy.
I don't know. I forget the quote, but I use it all the goddamn time. It's so much more reasonable to assume ignorance than malevolence.
Yeah.
Well,
and I don't even think ignorance works in this situation. I'm pretty sure it's a lot more reasonable to assume that she has good reasons for the things that she says. And I don't think they're all automatically self-serving. Or at least not self-serving in a negative way.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
At this point, I think it's very difficult for me, probably impossible for me to treat her with... she's not genuine. She is a liar. She is a lie. She is a liar.
That's true.
She tells lies all the time.
But
she is a con artist.
I'm gonna keep I keep using rag every time I'm in a chat when Rags is here. I don't mean to keep ragging on this.
Racist.
But whatever, man. So my channel started doing religious stuff. I would respond to a lot of religious claims, and you could make the same statements about Anita that people have been making about religious people on the internet, the internet atheists, since internet atheism became a thing. And it never is true. When you actually talk to a religious person, I'm just going to use religious people in this analogy, then you find out that the reasons they believe the things that they do are actually really understandable. And if you actually talk to them and go okay, you can get a single individual person to understand why everybody disagrees with them without being insulting. And you can also understand where their beliefs come from without having to really do very much. You just have to talk to them like a real person. Well, and it's not like they're being disingenuous. A lot of religious people are not
believe
lying.
Things that may or may not be true. They can absolutely do it. I bet most people who believe in God and who are very religious, they're good people and they absolutely believe it. And that religion, when it tries to justify itself, it tries to use reasonable explanations for everything because it understands that people are reasonable for the most part. And it's the same way that they kind of build this up is the same way you approach them if you want to debate against them, because if you understand these people are reasonable, and if you if you try to connect the dots with them and say, well, if this is this and this is this, and well, if this is this and that's that, and just explain to it very slowly, they kind of, a lot of the times they come around. That's what got me. Sorry, just a second. A Mantis Boy gave me $5. Loving the stream, Rags. Had a question because my PC keeps shutting down every time I load up a game like Rainbow Six. I don't know how to fix it. Sorry, I'm not tech support, but I appreciate the $5. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I appreciate the $5, absolutely, but I don't know your individual
Oh,
problems.
she gave me $5 too. What a cunt. Right, that's fucking-
So, but thanks for the $5 though. But I don't know what's your problem. Nemesis gave me $5. He said Anita Sarkeesian, the Ron Hubbard of our day.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I can see that. Hey, Rex, can you set me up with a wrench?
A wrench?
Yeah, make me a mod on your chat. I want to post a link.
Oh yeah, sure. Here, type something on the chat real quick so I can
I did.
link. There
I
we go.
did, yeah.
Wrench me.
So,
Hey,
so
did you say that's what got you before, Regs? Did you used to be religious?
Oh yeah, I used to be super fucking religious. Yeah.
Really?
Also call sign.
Which
Yes, I
branch
do know
of
that.
religion?
I was raised Roman Catholic.
Yeah,
Right on.
yeah. So it was all loosely, but I mean, were you really you really a believer sort of thing?
I was absolutely very, very believery. I was altar boy. No jokes, please. I was a lector. I went to church every Sunday. It was up into college. When I went to
Way
college,
more hardcore than I was.
When I went to college, I went to church every Sunday because it was bad if you didn't go to church. Like it's a mortal sin if you don't go to church. Like,
Right.
It's a huge deal if you just decide not to go to church every week. But I was very friendly. See, now it sounds terrible. I was really friendly with all the pastors we had. They were all really good guys, and they were all kind and nice. And I never left because of anything that anyone I knew did. Everybody I knew who was religious was very nice and very kind, and they were very genuine about what they thought. And for the most part, Catholics are pretty progressive in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So
I remember when I was sorry to cut you off, but like when I was brought up a Protestant, right? Like my family, I'm from Brazil, so Latinos, as you know, very Catholic.
Yeah.
My family converted to Protestantism when I was maybe 2 or 3, and there was a major rift in my family. My grandparents are like very Catholic, and they saw my parents as heretics because of that. Anyway, but I remember one of the big divides, like when I realized that Catholics are pretty progressive in science, even like I remember when John Paul II, I think in the early '90s, mid '90s, he's like, "Oh no, yeah, evolution totally happened," and the Protestants, we were fucking outraged by that.
what's interesting is the Big Bang Theory was invented by a Catholic priest.
A Jesuit, right? Yeah.
I think so, yeah. But
I saw that on Cosmos. I forget who it was, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
They talk about it on Cosmos, the new one. Yeah.
I guess the Catholics learned their lesson about the whole science thing, but but they're very open to all that stuff. They're open to like alien life existing on other planets, all that kind of thing. When
Yeah, but how do you reconcile Jesus with that? Like the aliens land. How do you?
I'm sure if you ask, you'll get different answers depending on who you ask. Is there an alien Jesus? Well, Catholics believe that
Jesus just bops around every time he's.
this is what splits them away from Protestants in a lot of ways. Is Catholics believe that you can get to heaven even if you have never heard about Jesus or know about Jesus.
That's
It's
right.
possible for you to get to heaven if you basically live a good life. They're not the hardcore sort of you have to be baptized and accept Jesus and then you're saved, period. Catholics say even if you accept Jesus or you say you do, you still have to like lead a good life. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm saved" or "be saved" and you're set and you're good and you're golden. Like you have to actually walk the walk, or at least their version of walk the walk.
No cotton with linen or fucking whatever it is.
So they but most people are pretty. I mean, I bet a lot of them are fine with things like gay marriage and stuff like that. But for the most part, and I don't know. It's just, but I left for reasons that didn't have to necessarily do with specifically Catholicism. It was just religion in general. I just heard too many good arguments. I got on because I didn't have unrestricted internet access until I went to college. So I got to college. I was however old you are when you get to college, and I finally could go on the internet whenever I wanted and look at whatever I wanted. So the normal things that you'd imagine happened, but I got real big into when I first got on the internet like that. I was an ardent supporter of religion and I defended it, things like that. But then slowly but surely, you just hear too many good arguments, and there's nothing you could do. You just hear too many good arguments.
Did you ever know that that Venom Fang X bloke, the one that argued with Thunderfoot Heaps?
I've heard of him. I know who he is, but I've never watched that debate. No. And for someone who asked in the chat, no, being Catholic was not a cause for my bisexuality.
How do you know?
Sure.
Shut up, Ian.
I suppose that's actually a fairly good question.
Yeah. So like the reason I brought interesting. I love spurring on tangents, but like the reason I brought up the whole idea of religiosity is because I think the exact same thing would happen if you actually like have a sit down conversation with a feminist, super hardcore MGTOW kind of person, and you would just kind of you would understand where they're coming from, and chances are, more often than not, you're talking to a decent person.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I've done it before though. I've done it with some real hardcore ones, and too many times, like a couple of times, it's gone really well, and we've been sort of civil from then on, but too many times it's happened that like I've sat down with them and had a really good conversation, and then the next time you speak with them, like whether it be in public or something, they just revert back to, oh, you're the enemy sort of thing.
It's a real shame.
There's a common
condition to be like. It's like they get back. It's like they get back and they get done, and it's almost they have to go to reconditioning camp or something.
Yeah,
it's like everything he told you is a lie. Don't believe him. He's trying to trick you.
It's like that with feminists.
It's reinforcing. I hate using the buzzwords like narrative or whatever, but it's like it's a generalized worldview that somebody is comfortable with.
Yeah,
and everyone has. I want to be very clear. Everyone has one. Like everyone has a general worldview that they are comfortable in, and it would take a lot for everybody to suddenly be like for all of us. Like actually, I probably should make this assumption because I was going to use aliens. Anyway, so all of us, I'm going to assume that we're all not like ardent. Everyone has been abducted, alien believers. But like,
I'm coming around. I've been watching those videos recently.
I knew someone. Someone was.
They're just funny.
But like in that situation,
well, someone probed Farmer Jeff. Is all I'm saying.
For the love of fucking God, hate you people. Like you could use the Matrix as an analogy. You could use aliens. It's just like there is something that would be able to go like, holy shit, everything I've seen in the world has been wrong up until this point. And it would be like mind-blowing, mental shattering to be like, oh my God, this is actually true. The same thing has to do with like looking up feminist statistics or whatever, because there are papers that do have good data that challenge that lend credence rather to like an overarching feminist worldview. And it's like, okay, I have to acknowledge that is an accurate representation of some part of reality, but I'm
happy to acknowledge that. It's fair enough.
No, and that's good, but it's like there could be like another paper or something. There could be another study or something that would just be like, oh, actually, everything feminists have been saying is 100% accurate. And I guarantee the vast majority of people on our quote-unquote side would not accept that.
I can see that, yeah.
But it's not just not accept it, because chances are, just from experience, it probably won't be as accurate as it seems at face value. But there would be a ton of people who wouldn't even read it. They would just be like, oh, no, this is just bullshit, forget it.
What's everyone else doing? Yeah.
I think that a lot of the times it can be tough to make the little concessions along the way, which both sides kind of have to do. It's the little things. It's okay to be like, yeah, you've got it. It's sometimes it's weird. If it's hard for you to say, then only you will know if this is true. Only every individual who hears this will truly know if that's how it is. But sometimes you will hear something that somebody else says, and in your head you will know that they have a point, or you'll know that there is some truth to it, or that it comes from a place that you can understand. If from that point, if from that step, you deny it just because you don't like it, you've done something wrong.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to open your mind.
Yeah. So when you listen to people, it's okay for you to be, for instance, a men's right advocate. It's okay to be a men's right advocate, and then at the same time say, yeah, but women might have it hard in this one aspect too, or maybe this is unfair for women too. Like it
doesn't have to be. It doesn't
maybe
wear a
it might
fucking
be
jersey.
or maybe it's just individualistic. Like
it's okay to say, yeah, this one pains my heart, but yeah, you have to admit that sometimes people say shitty ass things to Anita Sarkeesian and they shouldn't have said them.
Oh, sure,
definitely.
yeah, exactly.
No, not denying that at all. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you just gonna have it's things like that. You know, when she says I've been harassed, well, she has been. Then,
Yeah,
but I think the point that's being raised at the moment is
There, yeah, absolutely.
it wasn't necessarily Sargon who did that. Sargon's been pretty civil with it.
yeah.
Throughout his.
Nice. Yeah.
Oh, no, but Baring, you then have to also acknowledge that it's like Anita's right. Like there has been a like deluge of completely unfounded insults and chances are actual harassment being thrown at her since all of this.
Well, I've seen her.
All of this
it's
has happened.
Yeah, but hey, it's Anita's right to what? Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, she's actually been harassed before.
That's one thing to keep in mind. That's one thing to keep in mind too. Like it's because she gets a lot of that vitriol and the hatred. Like I've seen her mentions, and there are people making cogent arguments and actually breaking down, addressing what she's saying, and there are people just fucking calling her names, right? So when you're getting that much abuse thrown at you, it's very easy. Like we get this as content creators. I'm sure you guys can sympathize with this. We get say 100 compliments, and then the one guy who calls you something. Sometimes you get caught up on that. With her, I would think for the most part, it's the proportions are inverted. She gets a lot of people just calling her every name in the book, and then there's the people who appreciate that. So it's understandable that she's going to lump even the fair, balanced, honest criticism with abuse because she gets already so much of that.
I wouldn't say that. I disagree with that. She's an adult and she knows how to separate the two.
You should be able to.
I wonder. I mean,
I don't think
guys,
any justification just to say, look, it's all right for Sargon, who's a brilliant YouTuber and makes the company a lot of money to go to this conference and be harassed by someone on stage. That's pretty humiliating. I mean, that's
it's like he.
There's no
justification
for that whatsoever. There's no justification for what she did whatsoever, and it's very odd. Like I said in the beginning, Barry, you weren't here. I try to follow. Like we are all kind of like in the same spectrum, I say, ideologically speaking, which is to say we lean a little bit to the right away from the what's going on lately with the left, right? But I do follow some people in the left that I find very reasonable, and I like to see their arguments. Sometimes I'm really tunnel vision on one thing on our quote unquote side, but I'm like, let's see what they're saying. Let's see, like maybe I got this wrong. And I saw some people, and usually I'm like I'm able to find some common ground. But the way I was seeing people defend Anita, like these left people, left leaning people that I whose input and whose insight I appreciate. I'm like, no, I still can't make that jump, man. She's on stage, the guy's there. You can say he was smirking. You can say he was right in the front row to provoke her. You can say all of these things, but what you're basically saying is, well, he had it coming. He deserved to be humiliated and harassed in public at a panel where he paid to be an attendee. He was just listening to her talk. It's not like he threw a troll question or anything like that. Yeah. She just went for the throat with no provocation whatsoever. And once you say that that's okay, then all rules of civility are out the window. Why even argue? Why even talk anymore?
There's a difference between understanding why something happens and saying that's okay.
Yeah.
Like I could totally get why Anita reacted that way because
I understand why
here is a focal point of all of
I'm not saying it's okay.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
I'm mostly saying it for the people watching.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, when that's the thing with Anita, it's so easy for you to say, and rightfully so. She did all of this to herself. She set it all up. She insulted gamers. She called them bad. She did the whole toxic masculinity, the identity politics thing. You're garbage because you're a man. You're a shitty person because you're a gamer. All this stuff. Everything that people didn't just one day decide that Anita Sarkeesian was a terrible person. She said terrible, horrible things and did terrible, horrible things to a lot of people for no reason. And she has all this coming to her.
And especially to accept a position accept a public position on a panel at VidCon. I mean, you got to be half expecting that there's a possibility that people you don't like are going to be there.
It's like people have barely any idea who I am compared to Anita Sarkeesian, and if I for some reason got a position on that panel, I would expect someone to say something uncouth towards me.
Are you going next?
By the way,
Failures in the chat.
Yeah.
Hey, Failure, how's it going, buddy?
Hey guys, but wasn't there talk on the panel about the public does have access, but someday that has to change or something like that.
The what? Yeah, weren't they were talking about a feminist, a woman VidCon or something, weren't they?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was on one of the panels.
Yeah.
It was they wanted to have either restricted access or let's make our own panel.
So,
Yeah, it was while they were talking about how you could get these block apps or whatever to block everybody. How that could transfer to
the
like
block
real life.
bots and the
Oh my god.
This has already been like a fun criticism of the Anita article. The picture she uses crops out all of the women.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What was it?
right.
I didn't pay attention to that. I'm gonna have a look
Also,
at it. This is in the blog she did.
Thanks,
it's
thanks,
like-
Bobby,
it's in
for
the
the
blog
$10,
that she did.
by the way. I did see that. Thanks a whole bunch for that. He said, I was raised the same way in the evangelical free church. I'm just now realizing how weak their arguments are, and I'm learning to think for myself instead of spewing lines from the good book. So thanks much. And someone actually asked a decent question. Nicholas Van Neel sent $5 Australian, so thank you for that. But he asked, should we be sympathizing with a proven con artist?
Yes.
I don't sympathize with her in the sense that I don't sympathize with her, actually. I mean, I have not now.
You don't have to sympathize with the ideas. But, no. Go
And
ahead.
if she
You
was
can-
based on what she's done, I don't sympathize with her. I can if she changes, but as it stands right now, there's no reason to be sympathetic towards her.
I hate the idea.
I disagree because she represents. First off, she's a person, so I'm going to sympathize her at least on some base level.
Right.
But then
Yeah, I mean,
there's-
I'm not gonna throw her in the gulag.
No, but it's like
Right.
even then, it's like this is a person with a lot of I wouldn't even say terrible ideas, just a lot of really incorrect ideas.
They're pretty shit ideas.
I don't know.
pretty
not
bad
being,
ideas, but
not
it's like-
being sexist to men is a pretty fucking awful idea. Toxic masculinity is a pretty fucking awful idea.
I see them as like incorrect more than like. I don't see most of them being adopted, so I don't see them as necessarily okay. I guess if they were enacted, they would be pretty dangerous. All right, I'm just gonna sit here for a second.
That's what she called her fucking. I can't believe she titled her blog on VidCon harassment and garbage humans. Like fucking Jesus Christ.
Again,
Just
for no provocation.
No
He's
reason.
just sitting there.
I hate this idea that they're gonna try to implement a code of conduct. The ones that GitHub is using, essentially, using a block bot to vet people and ban people from Vidcon or like a future event. I mean, that is real world blacklisting. Is what it is. The people on that fucking block list are not harassers. They're not sexist, misogynist, whatever the fuck term you want to use. No, they're just people who pissed off Anita Sarkeesian or Randy Harper. That's all these people are.
But that is scary because a lot of the block list is not really that you did anything wrong, but you're associated with somebody that did something wrong.
Correct.
So you can be blacklisted by just being friends or family with someone that is considered toxic.
Failure.
Or just being willing to listen.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I was just gonna say I gotta head out. I got some things to address here. Thank you so much for having me, and big shout out to the guys on the stream there.
Yeah, thanks for coming,
Absolutely.
Izzy. I got your
Cheers,
Twitter
man.
down below, so you can check all of his stuff out if you guys want to take a look. But thanks for coming on by. It was good to
Thank
have
you
you on.
so much. Right on, dude. It was great talking to you guys. I'll see you guys
Yes.
later.
See you next year, Izzy.
You went to VidCon, didn't you, Fo?
Yeah, me and Deter.
Yeah, fun.
Yeah, we were there. It was cool.
Yeah, we were there. We were at the first panel where Anita did her fucking garbage thing.
Hey, I was at the second panel as well, unlike all you people that, I need to sleep off a hangover. Whatever, man.
You actually got to ask a question. Did you address that? Or?
Oh, yeah, we did. It was I couldn't remember my exact wording, but the question I actually wanted to ask in the second panel, because they didn't allow questions after the first one.
I can't imagine why.
Was the second one
panel-
Francesca?
Yeah, this is
Uh,
one for Jessica.
So there
Yeah,
were
they're
three
trying.
panels. There was the one with actually there were 4 panels that were like of note, I guess. Actually, because there were 6 panels of note, but the ones that everyone are talking about are only 3 of them. There was one with Francesca and the 2 with Anita. The second one with Anita was with Boogie, and it was about actually ending online harassment. Right, that was the second one. And the question I wanted to ask that one was what was your best piece of criticism, and how did you respond to it?
That's a good question.
It's a good question.
I swear to God, Boogie probably would have had like a list a mile long of like, oh, these are all the things I changed about my channel and why I love when people give me. I don't want to put words in his mouth. But the way he was talking, he seemed like he was really receptive to what people were saying in his chat.
I had a question. I had a question for the first one, but I was like, I think I was like 5 away, and then they just cut it off a good 8 minutes early. My question was, what they're
just to pause 1 second. It's like, that's the thing that people didn't really mention is that the panel started late and ended early.
God, that's what happens when you let women in charge of time.
Let failure.
My question would have been, what would they have thought of the growth of women in this quote unquote community? Since it was all about women being included in different communities where they're usually not welcome, what they would have thought about.
Tits mentioned something about that before. Actually, she's gone. She said, notice how Anita said, "Oh, these dudes making these videos about me all the time." Well, there's chicks doing it too.
Yeah. But they're not real. You're not.
They erase the women who contribute to these communities and say that they don't exist. I mean, it's like they crop them out of the picture, so to speak.
Yeah.
I know they literally cropped them out of the picture.
It's like you don't exist now. You weren't there.
Yeah. It's disturbing, They want to perpetuate this narrative that the only people attending these, who are opposed to them are these straight white males, who don't like their views or something, and that's absolutely not the case. The people who are criticizing them, some of the loudest people are women. They don't exist apparently.
Wait a second, Ian. Are you saying you're not a straight white male?
I'm a straight Asian male.
Asians are pretty high on the stack, though. It's basically
No, we're not allowed to talk about it.
If we're going by statistics, since you love statistics or you hate them, Asian males get paid on average more so than white people do. So yeah, we're like Schrodinger's POC. Yeah,
little dicks though.
Yeah.
Schrodinger's POC
chew on that.
Is amazing. I mean, if you actually look at this, is why the statistics are so interesting and why you can use them for goddamn anything. It's like there's that about Asian people. Most people that emigrate to the United States, like for education or for work, tend to get paid pretty well. It's like Indian folk, people from Nigeria. It's a lot of people from different Asian countries. And those statistics are worthless because it doesn't follow a very specific narrative. But that's why, I don't say that as we should now give super attention to Asian people. It's just to show that these statistics need to be used with just a pile of salt.
Like if you told me that Asians were making 120% more than fucking and white men or any fucking race, my thought wouldn't be like, oh, we gotta try to make these Asians make less money.
A lot of immigrants from certain countries make more than the average white person does. Nigerians and all sorts of stuff. So
I literally
when you really look at it, when you look at it, it's pretty.
It's honestly jealousy, I think it boils down to jealousy. It's the fact that they refuse to work. A lot of people, in the social justice community, they expect free fucking handouts from the government or whatever.
Don't make assumptions, Ian.
I'm not gonna go with the whole, welfare queen of the 1980s Reagan era thing. I mean, because that's obviously bullshit. But I will say that a lot of the time, the people who are diversity officers or whatever, they're making a fucking $100,000 to do nothing, at these colleges.
Yeah, look at how much money Anita has made, and compare that to what she's actually produced.
Oh, she's nothing like the people that went to go see her. She has a plan to make money. The people in the audience seem very fucking meek that were there to see her.
Oh yeah, she has a plan, and she has corporate backing. She has made, and this is in regular donations alone. I'm not talking about corporate donations. She made $440,000 over a period of 4 years to produce 18 videos, which were, by the way, really fucking short.
Yeah, they were not low quality, but they didn't scream hundreds of thousands of dollars in production value.
Yeah, they were flashy. They were just flashy.
And it's pretty obvious that not a lot went into the research and development department of those videos.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's got so many errors in her fucking videos. Like even her latest ones, I can pick them apart. No problem.
Like, you can't make a comprehensive video on the subject matter that she's talking about, because you basically have to make the case that most, if not all, video games have a similar trait.
Yeah.
And, like, you just can't, like, anyone in any kind of video of anything like this, people can poke holes in it, and because you're making grandiose statements.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She does it all the time. When she talks about, like, say, she says that violence in video games causes, male gamers to drag bodies around. She's only just talking about one game. She's talking about Hitman, right? That's all she's talking about. There's no other game that lets you do this. And then she takes that game out of context, uses it to misrepresent everything else out there. When people call her out on it, she gets all upset and all her fucking, like, if it was just her alone, I'd be okay with it. Then she'd be sort of forced to defend herself.
Ian, you're wrong, though. You're wrong, because right now I'm playing Fallout Shelter, and you could drag the bodies around, and also you could force them to have sex with each other. So that's rape. That's actually a thing that Anita put out there, that Fallout Shelter promotes rape.
Yeah, that is actually a thing that she put out there, which is weird as fuck. No, yeah, she takes things out of context, and when anyone has a rebuttal, they don't go after your argument. They won't say, "Oh, well, here's how Anita's right, and here's how you're wrong."
Oh, look, it's another hateful man on the internet. Oh,
yeah, that's what they go with. Right? That's
I want to know, Baron. Do you know what Fallout Shelter is?
No, I mean, I'm just going along with it. I assume it's a game where you can drag dead hookers around. I've got that much.
Game. It's hold on. I'll share it because I'm fucking playing it right now. Yeah. So I'm playing it right now. So you have these little people, as you can see down here, right? And if you build like a little living room, little living quarter, you could drag them up to these little living quarters, and that will, they'll just sit there and talk, and if the charisma happens and all that, they end up going into that little bedroom back there and procreating and getting you another doll for your shelter.
Hello, I graduated. Can you tell?
She says, she's smile and everything. So, but to Anita, this is rape right here. This
she's part of the 25% of women in Fallout.
He's drunk. He's drunk. He cannot consent. He cannot fucking consent.
Don't do it, Patricia. Don't do it, Patricia.
Wait, is this actually the reason that she thinks that this game promotes sexual?
They're dancing. That's the fucking second level of fucking rape right there.
Short red hair. I'm making you one of the 1 in 4. I love talking to you.
He's using that dirty L word.
Fucking misogynist.
I'm sure nobody's told Anita that.
I love talking to you.
Cast him out into the wasteland.
It's like the Tariq Nasheed book, right? The How to Mac. Mm. And in the book, he says that you should lie to women to have sex with them.
Wait, guys. Yeah, this is rape. This is rape.
He cannot consent. Run away. No, James. No, he cannot consent. He is intoxicated.
One of the honey badgers was telling me when they were in Melbourne that apparently some feminists are now saying that not having sex with a chick is rape. Like it's like what is it? Rejection rape or some shit.
Oh no! The rape just happened.
Damn, James, quick.
Yeah.
Oh shit! She's already fucking pregnant. Oh my god, James.
She's pregnant now.
This is what radioactivity does, apparently.
Look, this James is why the wage gap is real.
Well, this is what happens now. James has to go back to work. He has to go back down to the hospital to work for some reason with his fucking graduation.
Are they letting dogs run around in a research lab? That's not a good idea.
They're subjects.
Look, there's cats down there too.
Oh,
that's even a worse idea.
I know, cats. Ugh.
But look at this. You're leaving her at home to play housewife.
Not feeling too great.
Yeah,
She talks with a man for a couple minutes, has an instantaneous pregnancy. She's practically crowning right now.
She's coming down with something. She's
Yeah.
coming down with feminism.
It's called James Jr.
It's
But
so fucking weird.
Yeah, Anita classified that as rape.
Well, yeah, it is. James was raped. James was raped by Patricia. Taken advantage of.
He says he needs to take better care of himself.
Did you ever see that college poster that I think it was a Canadian college, it might be UT, that put it out? It said that James is drunk, Patricia is drunk, and they both hooked up, and now James is he's being charged with rape.
Yeah, of course.
It's like so cringe. It's like, okay, so both of them were drunk, but only one of them is a rapist. Okay, how does that make sense?
The two rapes should cancel each other out in a logical world.
Yeah, it's like declining a penalty in football.
I don't think that follows.
Was like, sir, were you drinking while you were driving that car? Sorry, sir, I was drunk and I did not have control over my actions. Therefore, you cannot arrest me. Women,
you know,
what the fuck?
People wouldn't really have problems with feminists like Anita Sarkeesian, especially her, right? If she was like, oh yeah, I deplore harassment of men, you know, and harassment on every side is bad. If she just said that, I think anybody would be like, okay, this is a sensible human being. Fine.
She says that. She says that harassment is bad no matter who it happens to. The issue that people seem to have is that she never ever talks about it, and heavily implies that it's primarily a female issue.
Yeah, and now she, you know, because even though she's like a straight fucking white feminist, you know, she likes.
Is she straight?
Yeah, she likes to bring in minorities and people of color and transgender people. She's like, you know, in her fucking article, for example, she likes to tokenize them. Like, she's just using them as a weapon, you know? She didn't give a shit about all these other people.
But, so like I keep interrupting people. I'm just terrible.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
Typical man.
Just, do you guys know Wisecrack?
No, I'm familiar with him.
I know them.
So I enjoy them because they go way too deep into popular culture philosophy, which is entertaining. One of them that they did on South Park, I'll link it somewhere. I don't know how to do that. It goes into like the commoditization of a whole lot of this particular call out culture, and it's fascinating. I recommend people look into it because this has been going on for decades. Like, this is not a new thing of trying to find like flaws or issues in a particular demographic or community, and then
I suppose it's just much more visible now with like social media and that.
Social media,
yeah, it's more accessible. People are able to
look at Monica Lewinsky, right? When that whole thing with Bill Clinton went down. Who were the loudest people against her? And I'm not talking about like fucking, you know, late night TV show hosts like David Letterman or something. It was feminists. They were the ones making fun of her. They were the ones poking fun, you know, slut shaming her essentially, right? They were the ones like she has Monica Lewinsky like recently, like I think in the past few years, just written about this, about how all the people who were supposed to be her so-called allies, you know, were the ones who were actually making fun of her.
It's
making
weird
big
how
See,
all
that
of
happens
a
so
sudden
much.
there's
Look-
sex-negative
look at
feminists
Leslie
just
Gray.
like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the.
Let me see. Is it?
Oh yeah,
It's
the West Crack. Oh yeah.
part of the idea is commoditization of. Let me see how they actually. It's a thing of neoliberalism. Consumerism is the most important duty as of a citizen. Individual freedoms trump public freedoms, and all public social issues are addressed on a private level. That's the ideal of neoliberalism. But what what happens a lot is you get a semblance of that. You get like a particular thing you can focus on, be it gentrification, be it like protecting minorities, and you put it into a very small pocket and find some way to commercialize it and use it. Not like people are saying use it as a weapon, but a lot of the time it's used as just a more public way of showing it's virtue signaling, but in a more commoditized way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's to make the person that's actually speaking feel better by doing a superficial and ultimately ineffective method of social justice. The way that this was the reason that Wisecrack mentions South Park is the whole episode where the snozzes, where they're able to they have like wristbands, and you buy a wristband and it makes it's like, oh, I care about all of these things, and it's like, no, you actually don't. You just want the rest of the world to think that you do. And I think like Anita has jumped on this, but I never, like, I keep repeating, I never assume it's for a nefarious intent. I honestly think that Anita thinks she's doing something really, really good. That this is something that is actually necessary for the world to be better. But in doing so, it's whittling down the actual important issues into tiny commoditized pockets. And that does a huge disservice to the actual betterment of this community. It's really depressing.
DatNoFact tweeted out earlier today, he was talking about the commoditization of it's just a couple of screenshots of the of Mashable, right? Mashable was doing a call out saying that corporate, companies, corporations that talk about LGBT rights and all that stuff are, being called out or some nonsense like that. And yet Mashable itself is a corporation, right? It's owned by a media conglomerate, and yet in their fucking profile they have a pride picture. It's just virtue signaling. They don't really care about these issues. Like, maybe
money's money.
Yeah, money's money, right? It sells. That's all. That's the only thing they care about, and they
look at Audi trying to make that Super Bowl commercial with the
Right? Yeah. That fucking I remember that.
Bad.
That's why, like, every major company is doing that. They're just like, oh, this is the thing that everybody wants, so that means we have to do it. It's not like it's not like the companies are saying, oh, diversity is actually bad, but we're going to market it as if it's a good thing. It's like, this is just the zeitgeist, so we all have to kind of roll with it.
Yeah, like, there are a couple of companies that I will say are positive, right? They actually believe what they say, that what they sell, and so on. And that would be Benetton, the Italian fashion company, because the United Colors Benetton was doing the whole diversity LGBT thing back in the 90s, back when it wasn't cool to do these things, right? They were doing it. And Ben & Jerry's ice cream, like, people can talk shit about them, but they've always been doing this. It's run by two gay men. They've always been into LGBT rights. So I'll cut them some slack. But when you see Starbucks doing it, it's like, it's pretty fucking obvious what their angle is here. They're just trying to court that progressive demographic. You're just going to say, oh, hey, look at us. We're totally woke, you guys.
Fuck, I hate that word.
Like, a lot of it comes from just outright companies are probably doing it just to make a good image for themselves. But a lot of times it comes from people actively wanting it's not quite virtue signaling. I'm having trouble articulating this. People want to project what they want society to actually be. So it's not doing it for any nefarious intent. It's just that this is what the world should be like, so I must repeat it.
It's a meme. It's a meme, like in the original sense of the term. They're projecting a meme, being like, okay, it's like when they put a fucking avatar on Facebook, an overlay with a rainbow flag symbol or something. They're trying to show people that, oh, I have to do this in order to fit in, because if I don't, people will assume that I don't support gay rights. Like,
I just want what the original product is. Like, don't try to sell other shit. Like,
people who want Audis don't give a fuck about feminism.
Like, I watch wrestling. Don't judge me. But for the most part, it's wrestling. But every now and then, it'll be like something like the Make-A-Wish program, which is cool because sick kids. But then it's like, all right. Now it's the Susan Coleman cancer thing, and then the other thing for the troops, and it's like, just fucking do wrestling. Don't fucking try to do all these.
John Cena making wishes.
But is there something wrong in just wanting an original product, like not have it not be tied with, like, for every fucking thing you buy, you get you put $1 towards Fucking homeless
Oh,
chihuahuas.
you want to know like the
Homeless chihuahuas.
Fuck chihuahuas.
no? If you want to know like a
After Taco Bell chihuahuas became unpopular, they just got tossed out. Nobody
All
wanted
those
them
designer
anymore.
chihuahuas people were buying, tossing them into the street.
don't be mean to chihuahuas. Their lives are already so terrible.
I think the most egregious instances of virtue signaling, is when a writer who previously told really bad jokes, made fun of the Nazis or whatever, comes out a few years later, and starts shitting on people for doing the exact same thing that he used to do. Like Graham Linehan, perfect example. That guy's a piece of shit, right? It's a huge piece of shit. He's ugly. He's a piece of shit.
Tell us how you really feel, man.
This fucking guy, he made fucking pedophile jokes in Father Ted. He made anti-transgender jokes in the It Crowd. This guy, he's got a lot of problematic views, a lot of fucking problematic views, and yet now he acts like the holiest motherfucker on Twitter. He's calling people out for using the word cunt, and yet, it won't take like a day to pass until he's calling somebody else a cunt. It's like it's so fucking obvious what his game is, Like he wants to ride on the wave of outrage whenever someone says cunt, he's got to ride on that, Like when what's her face? When J.K. Rowling was tweeting about how male feminist allies, how they are so fake and full of shit, and how they, they shit on women.
Those lying men.
Yeah, and she was making a good point here. Like I disagree with her a lot, but she was making a fucking good point here. He started signal boosting her, and he was like, "Yeah, those fucking men, those disgusting male allies." And like, dude, she's talking about you. She's talking about you, dude.
Fuck her.
I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who are well-minded about it, but I'm sure there's a lot who aren't.
Yeah. Fuck her. I wish those Christians would have taken down the fucking Harry Potter fucking witchcraft fucking series.
Banned for witchcraft. Burn the books at the stake.
No, but there were people that wanted to fucking get that book banned from schools.
It was that fucker that
the first Harry Potter book came out 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was a hate preacher. That hate preacher in Florida, the one that always makes the news, even though nobody listens to him. Like he's like that one example, right, of the guy who hates Harry Potter, or the guy who wants to burn the Quran. He wants to burn all these religious books because he's fucking crazy. Like, why do you guys keep giving this motherfucker a platform? No one cares about him. He doesn't have a congregation.
His message just got broadcast to all the other people who want to burn the Quran. They're gonna have a Quran burning party.
Just
get together. It's like I thought I was the only one.
That's a waste of Qurans.
Well, I'm planning one for ShitCon 2018 in case you want to.
Just go outside VidCon.
Bring your own Quran.
Burn a Quran. BYOK.
Isn't it spelled with a Q?
It depends. I've seen it both ways.
It depends. Yeah, it's both. I mean, it can be either. It's fine.
You gotta make sure you spell the right one. Otherwise, people are gonna show up with like elaborate kites. And not have any idea what to do.
Well, I didn't want to culturally appropriate the name of the Quran, so.
What?
The problem is with male feminist allies, and I would like to one day write an article. Like I keep getting shot down every time I propose it, but I would like to write an article about all the fucking male feminist allies in tech, in tech and in video games. Like, these people, they are some of the loudest motherfuckers on the planet, always signaling their virtue about how, male feminism is important, blah, blah, blah. And yet, they turn out to be rapists, like literal rapists. I'm not misusing the word literal here. They're literally rapists,
There
Some of
does
them.
seem to be a lot
Let's
of...
not paint with a broad brush.
There does seem to be quite a few...
Yeah, I'm not saying every male feminist allies are literal rapists, but many of them are. It's quite a astounding amount of them. In fact, it's quite interesting. Like if you were to say take the general population, who among them are rapists versus tech writers, who among them are rapists who are also male feminist allies, you'd find a very bizarre correlation there.
No, there's some truth to that.
Skepticism.
Yeah, it's fine to be skeptical. It's fine to be skeptical, but all you have to do is...
Baron left and did no one noticed.
Yeah, I know. I thought he might be having difficulties. Hope maybe he could pop back in later.
Who cares about that fucking cunt anyway?
Yeah, I know, a piece of shit. I hate him the whole time. Glad he's gone.
I mean, look, he's such a elitist. He didn't come to fucking VidCon. Fuck him.
Yeah, he was gonna come. It's just, oh yeah. I mean, like, I think it's fine to be skeptical. I don't know, you know, like, but there is some truth to it. Like the people who, in my experience, right, when I was part of Crash Override, a lot of them are actually harassers, right? I'm not going to say they're rapists or whatever because they're not, but they were. It's like that whole, you know, that old Shakespearean saying, "The lady doth protest too much."
Yeah,
that was what's going on with these people. You know, they would be so loud, so overbearing.
Or
Yes?
in a lot of these situations, like everyone knows this. It's not about the actual subject matter. It's just about the person speaking.
Mm-hmm.
That they want to be seen as a virtuous person. They want to be that change in the world, and they want to project that onto everybody else, or towards everybody else rather. So like, there's probably a ton of people who have no malicious intent. I'm gonna rail on this continuously, but this is just what you do. This is what you say to be a good person. So you have to.
Oh, I completely agree. I mean, there's a lot of...
Or there's also just the people that actually believe it and just don't see anything negative about it. And largely, if you listen to what a lot of people, male and female feminists alike, most of what they say is fine. It's only when you go into the nitty-gritty of things that you're just like, oh, why do you think that we need more women in tech? It's like, oh, it's because of the wage gap. Or it's like, no. Like probably a slightly better answer would be, so we just have more like diversity of opinion and thought.
It should be a fine answer.
So we just need more people in general in tech.
Yeah. The problem is, how do we go about doing it, right? Like right now, their proposal, and this is a bad proposal, is to institute quotas. Quotas are not going to work.
Terrible.
Yeah, quotas don't make any sense. You need... One policy that I think some companies are starting to do is like a what is effectively blind interview.
Yeah.
Where you just go like a barcode or a code or something or whatever is the person's name and their ethnicity and everything else.
Right.
And then it's like, okay, this person qualifies. They go in the next stage of interview process.
And they shoot those down too. There was a recent convention in Seattle. I think it was called ElectronConf, and I covered this one. They did a blind thing, essentially to pick who would be the speaker at speakers at the conference, because they were experts in their field.
I think I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah, and they did a blind pick, and it turns out that all of them were men, because hey, that's what tech is like. And so they canceled the conference. They're like, oh, I guess we do need quotas. And it's like, wait, what a sec.
Well, they did that in New York for a fire department. Like there was a test, and basically because no black people passed the test, they threw away the entire class.
Oh my God. What's the
so
point?
Stupid. It's not like black people couldn't pass that test. It's just
that didn't sign up for it.
Particular people happened to.
Yeah.
Yep, and a lot of them didn't sign up for it.
They needed that quota of because if you don't hire black people with your class, then
they're racist.
Kingslayer Damocles sent $5. He said, "Skeptic feminist, anyone?"
Who is the skeptic feminist? I keep hearing that name.
Oh yeah, skeptic feminist is the Russian Deadpool. He's the one who killed one of his co-hosts.
Oh Jesus! Okay.
Yeah, he's being charged with first-degree murder. Yeah, there was this, there's this whole he had a lot of defenders because SJW, right? A lot of defenders going on about how he had PTSD from the time he served in Afghanistan. And well, I looked into that. He never went to Afghanistan. He was private second class. He had completed boot camp, so he did not have PTSD. And they're like, well, you can get PTSD without serving the war. It's like,
you can get it from Twitter, I hear.
You're just moving the fucking goalposts at this point. You're just moving the fucking goalposts.
Like, I don't see what the hell is the problem with saying, like, you know what? This was probably caused by a multitude of factors. And more mental health awareness isn't going to hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're charging first-degree murder, which usually
Which is
means that
appropriate.
it means that it was premeditated, and they don't really buy his excuses. So we'll see how that one goes. I'm going to be following that case, and it's always like that. They keep moving the goalposts. Like when Sarah Nyberg, for example, when he was outed as I'm saying he because he didn't actually transition, right? He didn't. I mean, when he was outed as having some weird old fucking chat logs in 2005, people, at first they were like, oh, he was just being an edgelord, there's no way these are real, like these are all fake, you manufactured them. And then he himself came out and said, oh yeah, they're real. And then they started saying, oh well, I guess he was just being an edgelord, it's like they just keep moving the goalposts. There's no way to win in any of these arguments, because it'll be one thing after another after another after another.
I think you need to change your definition of victory, because we everyone here writes or says stuff on the internet or in other publications or whatever, and it's like presenting information to people that are either on the fence or that just haven't heard it is a victory.
Yeah.
So you can change the minds of people without changing the mind of the person you're actually talking to.
I think people need to just stop lying in general. That'd be cool. That'd be kind of nifty. People would stop doing that. You guys just stop lying.
Just everybody.
Yeah,
Universally.
Some maybe a little lie here and there. Like, of course, sweetie, you look beautiful and things like that. But maybe
your ass doesn't look fat in that one.
I abjectly disagree with the whole oh you're always beautiful sort of things to someone you're dating or whatever. It's like, no, I'm going to be brutally honest all the time.
Yeah. Hey, Rags, those sunglasses don't make you look fat.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's mostly fluff, actually. That's why it gets all it's very.
That's what they all say.
I'm fluffy.
I mean, it would be like Nyberg wouldn't be in the situation that he's in if his defenders didn't just lie about stuff. Like if you're going to keep moving the goalposts, people are not stupid. We're not retarded. We look at it and we're like, okay, you use this excuse, and now that you've been called out on it, you're using another excuse. So when are you telling the truth? When are you telling the truth?
You point this out, and then people listening will just be like, hey, that guy over there that keeps making points, all those other people keep changing the goalposts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I wonder about that.
It happens with Anita, I don't play video games. I had to learn about video games. It was never about video games. Always about social justice. It's the whole thing. It's like, you've been caught. It's like we know you're lying. Just quit trying to switch it all up.
Ian, I keep hearing you skirting around it. Do you want to sing a song?
Oh, you hear what now?
I hear you skirting around the topic. Do you want to sing a song?
He wants to sing a song?
What?
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. I think we've gone
full Macintosh. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh.
Oh my
I think
god.
We've gone full Macintosh.
Pop Culture Detective Agency. Let me Google that. So this is John McIntosh. Oh, he's got Patreon. Let's check him out.
He has a Patreon. He used to have only like $122 per video, but now he's been making a lot more because websites like Fusion keep publishing his vids. He's like, he follows this idea, and he has talked about this quite a bit actually, about how men, specifically other men, are more receptive to listening to another man speak rather than a woman. And that's clearly not true, because Anita Sarkeesian's made $440,000 over the past 4 years versus him.
Right.
So he's made like next to nothing.
Is that money to actually hire a man to speak, or what is it?
It's just him.
Wasn't Macintosh the one that wrote all of Anita's things?
Yeah. He wrote all her things, yeah. And he even wrote her tweets. It's very, very obvious. I mean, I won't even say it's obvious. It's identical, right? The tweets that he made on his Twitter account are identical to what she had tweeted later on, like a few weeks later, or a few days later. There would always be stuff like that.
What do you think she does on her off time? Because I noticed like not only the group that we were in was having a nice time at a VidCon, but we also noticed some people from the other community like having fun. What do you think she does for fun? Because she wasn't spotted anywhere this week.
I think she bathes in the blood of infants.
Ah.
Oh well, that must be difficult.
Yeah, there's not a lot of blood in there. You got to get a bunch of infants. That's the thing. That's the real tragedy.
That's
you know how many dead babies
horrible.
it takes to fill up a bathtub?
But we gotta clarify.
No, I don't.
Dead male infants. She will not sacrifice a female infant for her baths.
Wasn't there actually like what was that woman's name that basically did that?
Elizabeth Bathory. Yeah, it
There
was,
you go. Yep.
Yeah.
Blood of young women. She thought it
Yes.
gave her youth.
Yeah.
She was incorrect.
It turns out it will not actually give you youth.
No, it won't.
Don't bathe in blood, kids. Just don't do it.
Oh my god.
And if you're gonna do it, don't tell me about it.
Yeah.
I enjoy my plausible deniability.
If you're gonna do it, tell the police
Yeah, if you're gonna do it, tell the police
before you start.
far before you begin. Make plans on Facebook. Let everyone know. Have it be in a public place, like in front of the police station.
If you want a serious answer as to what I think she does in her off time, she goes to these parties, like these high profile Hollywood parties. That's what she does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's got connections. That's for certain.
Yeah, she hangs out with Will Wheaton.
I'm sorry. Do you think like Anita is one of these commoditized like pockets of society? Like are other people like presenting her as like, look, I support this person, therefore.
Oh yeah, definitely.
People say that they. I mean, like I know Movie Bob did it a long time ago when he came out. It was like, yeah, Anita's totally right about all this stuff, and I back her 100% of the way, and things like that.
Yeah.
People use her as a way to, as a way to signal their opinions on things. And aren't I such a wonderful person because I support Anita Sarkeesian, and aren't gamers awful?
Ashley Judd, she hangs out with Ashley Judd.
Yeah.
She actually hangs out with her. And she was the one feeding Ashley Judd all the nonsense about Hitman. So Ashley Judd's TED Talk is essentially just about Hitman. She was fed a bunch of lies by Anita. She watched a video or something, and then she said bashing gamers on in front of a live audience.
She
weird.
does talk in a way that would make you suggest that she just heard something from Anita and she's just regurgitating it real quick.
Yep.
Like Anita told me how bad all you male gamers are, you terrible people.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And besides that, Anita has a tendency to sort of invite herself as a +1. Like she went to Notch's party when he had his housewarming. He had not invited her. Somebody else did. He hasn't named who that person is. I have no idea who it is. Could be anybody, right? But they pull her on as a +1, and then she put her feet on his table.
Awesome.
Because there was a thing that everybody who went to his fucking party was doing. They would. I don't think he gave any of them permission to put their fucking dirty ass feet on his table, but it's a thing that they did, and they posted it on Twitter. They were like, "Oh, look at who I'm hanging out with. I'm hanging out with Notch, the billionaire game developer." It's these people just virtue signal. I mean, they don't care about Notch or his opinions. He's a cool guy, but they just wanted to use him, right? But obviously, he's got his own thoughts. He's very independently minded. He didn't care about them.
Yep, good on him.
Well, he has what they call FU money.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about what they think or anything. Jesus.
Didn't he basically sell Minecraft just so he could work on something else?
Yeah.
Like he was just like, I'm bored with this. I'm gonna do something else now.
Yeah, he sold it to Microsoft
for $1 trillion.
He's got more money than Donald Trump. That's how rich he is.
Minecraft.
Oh yeah.
Talking about money, Mark Webber says rags for good dog 2017.
Mm-hmm.
I am a good dog. Thanks for the $5, Mark. The Notch sold Minecraft to work on his tan. Excellent.
I mean,
known white guy.
I mean, when you can basically buy the sun, that's
Yeah, I suppose.
that'll do.
I get premium tans from my own son.
People are bad to Notch because he's wealthy, you know? Like, I see the comments people leave about him on Twitter.
People
They're
get
just
upset because
awful
people
people.
are rich.
He's wealthy and opinionated.
Well,
like
the
he
same thing
never
happened
stopped
with
being an
PewDiePie.
actual person.
When people came out, when it came out, you know, how much money PewDiePie was making. He's a millionaire. He's got all this money. And it's like people got all salty and upset and terrible. And it's like, you should be happy for him. Why are you so angry that he's making money?
If he can make it, technically any of us can make it, even though chances are we won't. But just the fact that, you know, a guy that used to work at a fucking hot dog fucking stand or whatever made it to being the most subscribed guy on YouTube.
It's fucking aspirational, is what it is, you know.
Hey,
look at somebody
taught
like
me that anyone could cook.
look at somebody like Boogie.
Did you just do an Anton Ego quote?
Nope.
From Ratatouille?
No, Anton Ego was the critic.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. That was Gusteau.
Gusto.
Yeah, look at Boogie, right?
And then
Yeah.
we can cook.
Boogie's a great example.
Boogie's not supposed to be as popular as he is.
But he is, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he produced good videos, good content, you know. He's got a likable personality. Like, you can
It's
be a
like-
complete douche on Twitter, and I mean, not Twitter, but YouTube, and people hate you, and you won't be popular, you know.
Yeah.
Which is fine, because you don't deserve that popularity. But if you have what it takes, if you've got that right mix of personality and charisma, why not?
Yeah.
It's one of those, like, it's possible for you to be anything, but that doesn't mean you will be.
Yeah, don't bank on. It's possible for you to win the lottery, but don't bank on it. All right.
Yeah,
Like, a lot of the stuff is complete circumstance.
you could be Movie Bob. I'm so glad that he's not more popular, because he's
remember,
terrible.
You could be Movie Bob too. One day you'll be amazing enough to be just like Movie Bob. You will ascend to his level of divine godhood. You'll be an Uberminsk just like Movie Bob.
I'm learning a lot about Movie Bob right now.
Oh
He's
yeah,
just a shit person.
he's a shit
Like
person.
some of the
yeah.
things he says are creepy.
Oh yeah, he sounds like Mussolini.
He does. He sounds like Mussolini in this weird way. This is almost genocidal master race kind of, but it's weird the things that he says.
He talks about how, you know, anyone who lives in like the South, or any state, anybody living in any state that didn't go blue deserves to die.
Yeah, like,
you know,
fucking Republicans and conservatives, people in the South, is like they're all lesser beings. They're all you know, it's just the way he phrases it is so He's a messed up guy.
If you know, if there was a button that he could push to basically kill people, he would be pressing that fucking button over and over again.
Yeah, he would definitely press the button.
Like, here's one of his latest. Here's one of his latest tweets. All right, it goes: nationalism, isolationism, and protectionism are ideologies of the weak and mediocre who fear they can't compete in a superior open world.
Mm-hmm.
White-coated, blue-collar Americana combined with disdain for diverse cosmopolitanism, rainbow flags, and feminism are now. I can see the rest of his tweets because he has me blocked. But man, he's just the worst.
God damn, a bunch of that, like every part of that tweet was wrong.
It's so bad. Here's another one. It's a partial. We long ago crossed the line into a future where increasingly the human race is less and less necessary to survival of the human race.
God, all of these tweets follow the same line of thinking. It's like the fundamental premise is wrong, so the rest of it just falls apart. God, this is annoying.
He's kind of the worst. He's kind of the fucking worst.
Well,
tweets.
I wonder what movie Bob's. Oh, he's fucking retweeting Arthur Chu. What do you know?
Oh, well, what do you know? What do you fucking know?
What do you know?
Oh my fucking god. God, no. No. Oh my god, that's terrible. That is terrible. That is like that is like two supermassive stars colliding. Is what it is.
So dramatic and beautiful.
Oh, and he's most well known probably for this quote that I think you've all probably heard, and it goes something like, "I believe that there is almost no such thing as a bad tactic. There are only bad targets."
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, I did see that.
Oh man,
Fucking
that
God.
is. That's rough.
That's like torture's fine.
Torture is fine.
Nerve
Anything
gas,
is
that sounds
justifiable
fine.
if it's against the right kind of person.
Yeah, essentially, yeah, that's what he's saying.
It's like gamer
Hey,
gamers. It's
hey,
okay to do
hey.
anything.
It's like, hey, guy on the internet, you know the same logic could be turned on you. You want that?
Well,
Yeah,
that's the thing.
that's a bad game.
Let's say they get rid of all their enemies. There will always be the need for an enemy.
Oh, he'll
true.
create new ones. Yeah.
New ones will get born.
Oh, shit.
Like it's
Yesterday-
not like your current situation is going to be permanent forever.
So, Bob, yesterday he said national identity is for small-minded intellectual weaklings who lack vision or ability to be more than where they're from. Pathetic.
He should not be calling anyone pathetic.
Oh, you know
See himself.
what's funny? What's funny though is I don't necessarily. Okay, so I disagree with the way that it's worded, but like I don't think people should only focus on their nationality. Like that's
No,
not
absolutely.
a bad idea.
So it's where his thought is coming from, right? Like I may agree with him on a certain stance, but where it's coming from though,
Yeah,
this is
but
fucking
if
crazy.
if you have national identity, and I think everyone has to some degree, like I definitely identify as an American, but I think that means a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say, if you have a national identity, you're a small-minded, intellectually weak, pathetic person.
Well, it's
Yeah,
a difference between nationalism and jingoism.
Right. Here's another tweet. There are days when my fondest wish is that eugenics hadn't been tainted as a science by racists and Nazis. You can call them weekdays.
Yeah, he tweets scary stuff like that.
God damn.
It's like if he was in charge of this crap, like if he was the Surgeon General or some shit, imagine. Oh my god.
Yeah, he would advocate for killing people.
Well, now we have to wonder, is he actually just being like, I'm on the internet, I'm going to say the worst things ever, give me attention.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. If you gave him a gun and you told him, all right, go ahead, kill him. No, there's no repercussions for what you're going to do. Go ahead. You think he would actually pull the trigger?
Probably not.
Think he could tell somebody else to do it for him?
I don't think most people would. It's like, actually harming another person is difficult.
Yeah.
And right and good. I'm glad it is.
It
I'm
would
glad
have to
most
be like
people
an
have
extreme.
empathy.
Most people that would kill probably would have to be that person did a fucking terrible thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I think the only way I could like harm another person in any serious way is if it was directly self-defense. And chances
Right.
are I wouldn't even do it on purpose.
Here's another one. At some point, we need to stop treating stupid as functionally different from evil.
Yeah. He just
Yeah, that sounds. Wait. Is he saying not to do that or to do that?
He's saying that we shouldn't treat it like if a person is stupid, therefore they're evil. That's what he's saying.
That sounds
Yeah.
fine. Are we supposed to disagree with that?
I guess. I mean, okay. So you have to keep in mind his definition of stupid is anyone who voted against Hillary. That's his definition of stupid. So essentially, what he's saying is that if you voted against her, meaning whether you voted for Trump, whether you didn't vote, whether you voted for third party, you are an evil person
You are
who
an
deserves
evil,
to be punched
stupid,
from this
terrible
planet.
person. If you're conservative, you're evil, stupid, you're terrible, you're awful. You're Republican, you're awful. You're in the South, you're awful. I mean, the way that he goes around categorizing the people who disagree with him or a certain position as just bad people is insane. It's like levels I don't know if I could. I don't think I could get any comparison off the top of my head of someone who does it as poorly as much as he does. I mean, if he demonizes people this way.
I still think it's mostly a front. Like it's the internet.
Here's another one. At a certain point, people of vision and intelligence, meaning him, need to reassert power in this country. We should not slide into the abyss just because a plurality of the citizenry is too fucking stupid to not want to prevent it.
Okay, I'm convinced he's like a high schooler finding himself.
Sounds like one.
Well, one thing we learned from VidCon this week is basically people's character online totally, when both sides encounter each other, it's not like, the same attitude you would have online for sure.
Oh my god, Sargon is like a freaking sweetheart.
Yeah.
Like he's just a very pleasant person, just in general. Then again, he wasn't public. Who knows what he's like otherwise? No, like Sargon was very pleasant. The Warskis actually acted exactly the way you expected, and I felt like a lot of the people were very genuine, which was actually very, very cool to find out.
Yeah.
Then again, like Anita also acted exactly as I expected. So I think I don't recommend making characters on the internet. Just act the way you actually would.
I know Franny had her, meet up with people and everything. But there was still a point where she was on stage and was like, I have the microphone, you don't. And
okay, so I want to put this the fuck to bed because I'm tired of people repeating it. When she said that, I'm pretty sure she wasn't saying I am better than you, so shut the hell up. When she said that, as far as I'm concerned, unless proven otherwise, she was just saying I'm the person on the podium. That means that the audience shouldn't be able to talk over me. And that's correct.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Like I was annoyed that it was being like tweeted a million times.
Well, the audience didn't seem to take it very well.
Well, no, because it was like the criticism wasn't bad. But well, it's the criticism of the day wasn't bad. That particular person was just an asshole who was shouting.
Oh yeah, he was.
And that's okay. Sorry for tirade. I'm just really annoyed when things I actively saw are being repeated badly.
Misrepresented.
Well, that's the thing, is this is, of course, from my perspective, that's what I think was actually going on, but I try to see the best in people.
Well, I was there, but the vibe could totally be taken different if, it all depends with the person. Like, she has a history of, blocking people, not wanting to hear other people's opinions.
It's so the when internet, she says, though. Like, there's a difference between anonymity and actually being face-to-face.
I need to go and do some stuff actually in a little bit. I got to take care of some things. Some stuff, the important stuff actually. That's why I wanted to get this kind of done early. I actually didn't go to work today because I had to take care of something, but luckily the super chat has kind of made up for that a bit. So thanks very much for everyone who gave me stuff on super chat. I really appreciate that. I was supposed to work today, but I did not because of things happening. So I got to go deal with those things now. Did anyone have anything else you wanted to say before we kind of started winding on down?
Follow all of us on Twitter.
Yes, follow me and Ian and Deter. Deter, not Deter, and Failure Accomplished.
You know what? This VidCon was fantastic for my Twitter because every day I was like constantly just getting new fucking followers out of nowhere. I gotta do more live events. I guess.
Let's have a VidCon next week.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, oh god, no more VidCon. I'm so tired.
Come on, Deter, you don't want to have rides with Vietnamese guys?
Yeah, man.
While Failure is tripping balls in the backseat.
Oh shit.
Failure, why would you bring this up?
We said don't talk about the Vietnamese on the
Bring it. Yeah, no.
I need to make sure Failure got a ride home. I was the responsible
magic bunker.
We'll talk about Failure Accomplished. I'm gonna be having a stream now talking about some of the VidCon hijinks. Besides the whole fucking Anita shit, I'm tired of the Anita shit, to be honest.
Yeah.
So that'll be on Failure Terminated. Ian, if you're welcome to join if you have some time.
Oh, wait,
Oh, hell yeah.
Before we
I'll be up
go,
for that.
I saw this tweet stream from the one janitor. Do you guys know who that is?
Yes.
Was this last night? Was this last night?
Yeah, this isn't last night. Yeah, he was
I saw it.
misrepresenting Sargon. He was saying that it was rapist behavior or something.
He said, thinking about the Anita Sargon thing a little bit, it's actually really fucked up. It breaches a new level of deranged. Imagine having made all kinds of nasty videos, comments, insults about a person, showing no compassion or concern whatsoever, and then showing up like 5 deep with other people who have done the same thing to her and other women and sitting in the front row, and then literally staring at her in person, knowing full well what you have said and done about her, grinning at her. You want her to know you're there. And you didn't come alone either. You came with others who are all sitting there smirking. That is literally fucking serial killer behavior. There's a level of these guys say vile stuff online, and that alone is annoying and fucked up. But actually showing up IRL to intimidate a person is a new low that I am very depressed we've managed to reach. This is not just for lulz or trolling. This is stalking and intimidation. I would literally consider a restraining order if I were her.
By his logic,
this would also be true if he actually harassed her.
All that would be true if reality was completely different.
But by his logic, then protesters do the same thing because they show up to places where they don't like the person.
No, this is one of those situations where I have to be really center on this. That is accurate. Like, if there is someone that is harassing somebody, showing up in a public place just to, even if it's a speaking event, even if it's anything like that, that's why restraining orders exist. This is a thing that actually happens to people. But that's only if Sargon actually harassed her.
He didn't, yeah. And to top it off, I would say that there's a difference between what he did, which is just showing up for an event that he paid for, versus what they would do. Yeah, these people.
She's a
look at Evergreen. Well. Yeah, look at fucking Evergreen.
If Sargon was like sending death threats or was like actually threatening to giving threats of any kind, then that would actually be genuine harassment. That is absolute grounds for a restraining order.
Sure.
But from what I saw, Sargon was harsh. I would probably say, probably insulting. But most of it was just criticism. Just like, these are shit ideas. You are either lying or et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, he said she's a liar, and she is. We have it on tape, and we have it. She is a liar. She's
a liar, though.
She is a liar.
She lies a lot. She lies a lot. Time. Like when she says that, I'm not a gamer, I don't like playing video games, and then later she's like, I've always been a gamer. That's a lie. So which is it? Which? To fucking get your story straight there.
That's difficult because, like, I've probably said online.
No, she's definitely a liar. And she's doing it.
And then she goes on to say, like, oh well, like party games are right, but these violent games are the problem. But then she has a problem with like Mario fucking games because there's not enough female representation.
There's a million reasons to criticize what Anita has said, but like, if it could be proven that Sargon actually was doing the harassing, then there is grounds for what T1J said.
Don't you know that just addressing someone on Twitter is harassing? I mean,
hashtag listen and believe.
Yeah, listen and believe. Why aren't you listening and believing to Anita, Deter?
Sargon.
I am a reasonable person, and I want to cover all the different points.
Yeah. During a stream that I was doing on my phone, I did ask Sargon why he harassed her, and he indeed confirmed that he looked at her, and he should have.
He's like, I'm so sorry.
Avert your eyes! Avert your eyes, peasant!
Yeah.
How dare you gaze at her glory?
God, the male gaze is one of those things that just annoys me.
What the fuck is even the male gaze? Like, I understand that in like movies, when the camera pans too fucking slowly on a woman's butt. I get that as the male gaze. But the way they apply it to everything else is like, hold on a moment. That's not a male gaze.
The way that werewolves take their shirts off.
The male gaze would totally be a thing if it was just like mentioned offhandedly. Like, it was like, oh yeah, sometimes things are designed with the intention of drawing attention to certain things, and chances are it's going to be men. But it's the male gaze in general is supposed to be like everything.
Yeah,
is designed with men.
Everything is sexist. Everything is racist. Yada yada.
and you have to
It's
point it
just,
all out.
It's
I need
like,
to.
so-
I need to.
Yeah,
point
yeah,
that
yeah.
Out, though.
I
I
could
say
rant
one
on
down.
for so
I knew
long.
we'd keep going, but we should. We'll do this later. I got you all in. I've got all your names and
Sweet.
stuff. So if you guys ever want to do something, hit me up and let me know, and we'll.
Oh yeah.
We'll
The
see
chat
this-
is like asking us when we can do an E3 stream, you know, so I'm up for that.
Yeah, I need to, cause I just vacation with timing was so bad. I need to go back and watch some E3 recaps, and kind of see all the stuff that got portrayed and all the stuff we saw.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see all the games that'll be downgraded. So
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, let's wrap this up. I have been your host, Failure Accomplished. It's been a pleasure to have you all here.
absolutely, thanks for having me. And I hope I'll be able to come on the channel again soon.
Fuck you, Philly.